In this episode, I sit down with my good friend Ray Higdon, who is a husband, father, leader, multimillionaire entrepreneur, best-selling author, and has shared the stage with world-renowned speakers like Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Robert Kiyosaki, Bob Proctor, Gary Vaynerchuk, Magic Johnson, and many more. I know this conversation is going to bless you in so many ways as we dive into building faith-driven wealth, hearing God's voice truly, and what it means to walk in faith as God guides you in all of your ways to places you could never imagine. Grab your notebook because this is going to bring insane revelation. I am so excited. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Make Men Godly Again podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Warder, and today I have a very special guest. We've been chatting here for a little bit, and I'm really excited to dive in. Not going to do a full introduction because the beginning of this conversation is going to introduce you in a way that I think is really going to get the audience to understand who you are and why they should listen. Okay, so
great.
Years ago, a mentor taught me to be very intentional about who you listen to. And so he taught me to listen to only those who have what you want and have been where you are. Okay. And so what I want to do is start off by understanding where you're at now, right? Especially in the conversation of wealth, but your definition of wealth. And then we'll kind of walk ourselves back and go through how you got here. Okay. So just to start, what is your definition? Or since we have the, chapter 6 is your view on wealth.
Yeah. So, wealth is you having abundance in all areas of your life, and a level of trust in God in all of those areas, and so it's something that I know, people worth hundreds of millions of dollars that are stressed out of their mind and have bad relationships, their kids hate them, and like I don't call that wealth, although the world would call what's your number, that's wealth.
Yes.
I don't call the number your wealth. I know people that don't have a lot of money, but they trust God for all that they do, and they have a great life. Like, is that not wealth? And so it's probably a little different than most.
Yeah. So for you, what does it look like for you as far as you being wealthy right now in all of those domains of your life?
Yeah. So the last, intentionally the last for sure 2 years, the number one focus for me has been hearing and prayer, being able to ask questions in prayer and get actual direction, get actual answers. And so God directs every single area of my life. And so it's probably been 9 months now. About 9 months ago, in prayer, I just said, God, I give you permission, make me excellent in every way, in every area of my life. And He guided me on working out. He guided me on eating. I lost, like 30 pounds. I'm in better shape than I've ever been, literally in my life. I'm in better shape than I was in high school. Yeah. And He's also, guided me with my kids. I have a better relationship with my kids than I've ever had. I have a better relationship with my wife than I've ever had. And I just trust Him in everything that I do. And that's Him. That was me giving permission and adhering to, hey, I'm open to your guidance on this. And so it's come from a series of different prayers, but really just adhering to His wisdom. I don't lean on my own understanding. I trust in Him. He guides me in all my ways. He guided me to come here, and so I get a lot of podcast interviews or requests, and Lord, should I do this one? Absolutely. Okay, great. So I'm here.
Thank you, Father.
Yeah.
So what has been the result of that prayer life and that trust in the Lord? And that huge shift for you when it comes to, say, business, for instance? Yeah.
So probably about that same time, 8 or 9 months ago, I prayed to God and I said, Lord, what do you want to create for me in my business? And He said, freedom. And at the time, I did not feel free. I had a lot of clients that were, some were demanding but just wouldn't do what I'm telling them to do. I had some contracts I was finishing up that just just didn't feel great, and there's just a lot of stuff that just wasn't great, and and I was stressed about different things. There were different, I don't know, it was just very different. Now, when I look at my calendar, literally every day, every minute of my day, I look forward to. I don't have a client that I cringe at. I don't have a contract. Because he tells me what to accept, what not to accept. And I think it was about 2 months ago, I had a guy reach out to me and he said, "Hey, I'm finally ready to move forward." And it was a $30,000 coaching, and and I prayed. I'm like, Lord, am I taking him on? No. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey man, I'm so sorry. I'm busy on other projects, and I don't. Now logically that doesn't make much sense, but I don't lean on my logic. I trust him, and he guides me on who to work with, what projects to do, and so I just absolutely love my business. And the cool thing is, it's a lot of times, and I mean a lot of times, he's putting me in rooms of non-believers. And it's pretty rare. I mean, I did one today on the drive over. It's pretty rare for me to have 2 days in a row where I don't bring someone to Christ. And so I did one guy on the way over. But some days there's 4 or 5 people I'm bringing to Christ, and sometimes they're going from New Age to Christ, they're going from Hare Krishna to Christ, they're going from just a guy Mahmood last week went from Muslim to Christ, and so it's really neat how God is co-working with me. I don't use the term use. A lot of people say God used me, and I don't think God likes to use us because we're His sons.
Yeah.
I don't want to use my son. Hey, go do that for me. I want to encourage my son to do things that will grow him because I want him to prosper. And that's the same thing with God. Yeah. So He's not looking to use us. I don't think He's looking to, how can I help my son Ray go and shine his brightest light and live his biggest purpose and help the most amount of people. That's what I think the game is. Yeah. And so when you subject yourself to that and you adhere to that, that's what happens.
It's interesting because I've had a recent shift in that as well, where for probably the first 18 months of my relationship with God, I was praying every morning for Him to use me whenever, wherever, sure, however, with whoever, send me.
Yeah.
Right. And the send me part was really like, if I could sum my relationship up with God into 2 words, for the longest time, it was send me. It's like
that's servanthood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now most people won't do servanthood, right? Because God will tell them to do something, they won't do it.
Yeah.
God will say, write the book, and they won't do it.
Yeah.
Go do the project, or go move, or He'll call you to do something uncomfortable, you won't do it. So most people won't enter servanthood, but what He actually wants is sonship.
Yeah.
He wants sonship, and son is different. I was very similar. I was, put me to work, God, put me in, coach, let me know what I can do. And sonship is just different. It's just magical. It's amazing.
I feel like that's what I'm entering right now.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. But the transition has felt like kind of rocky because I've known one way, one type of relationship with God. And then through this wild wilderness and desert season that He's had us in, I've gotten to know a different side of Him, which has been equally beautiful and painful, right? But it's been interesting to be experiencing that shift.
Well, just know, when He was, when He said with Jesus gets baptized, and He said, "This is my son, whom I'm well pleased." The next scene is the wilderness.
Yeah.
So you get sent into the wilderness when He's well pleased with you. That means you're ready for growth. You're ready for the next season. You're ready for the next, the next level, right? That's when you go into the wilderness. So a lot of people curse the wilderness. Why did God do this to me? Well, why did He do it to His son? Because He was well pleased with him, and he was ready for the next level. And so the wilderness just means there's a promise coming. There's an upgrade coming. He's actually very pleased with you. Congrats.
Thanks, I appreciate that. That's some good news.
Yeah.
So you said that you don't go more than a couple of days without bringing someone to Christ. What does that look like?
So my method is I lead with goodness. And so I very openly talk about here and in prayer. I very openly talk about that I ask questions all the time in prayer, and he guides me. And so I say in my book, actually, that was the guy that I talked to on the way over here. I tell people, hey, if you want to better hear in prayer, feel free to reach out to me. So I lead with goodness. And a lot of times people are curious about God, but they haven't actually accepted Christ. And so the people that God sends to me, right? John 6:37, whoever the Father sends to me, I will never send away, right? And so whoever God sends to me are almost always, I don't want to say always, but almost always people who they're curious about God, they want to know God, but they haven't actually accepted Christ. And so I walk them through a process to better hear, where step one, we go through a prayer where they accept Christ, and two, I teach them some questions to ask in prayer to help them with that.
Okay.
Because most people, they are not confident that they can hear in prayer. And, I help them with that. I help them understand, what does that look like?
Yeah. I'm hoping that we'll get into the prayer
Sure.
a little bit later too, because my relationship with God has been developed through him speaking to me through scripture.
Yeah.
Right. And so reading for revelation, that revelation quickly shifting into direct communion,
Yeah.
where I'll be reading one thing, but I'm receiving something that
Nice.
is not the words on the page. But
Beautiful.
that has led to a amazing, wild
That's
journey
beautiful,
of him
man.
asking me to do a lot of hard things.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling called to the prayer life. And I think that's part of why I was guided to getting you on, is
Yeah.
because of the prayer life part of this.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of men, especially Christian men, are not really doing it daily. And
Yeah.
if they are doing it daily, a lot of times it's just the repetition. It's not truly intentional, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to, without getting too far into it now, I want to try to peel back some layers on that later.
Sure.
If we can.
Yeah.
To get into knowing you, what does the audience need to understand about your past to best understand who you've become today?
Yeah. Grew up in a very abusive home, like many, and so from like 3 to like 12, I mean, I was abused pretty much every day. Woken up every morning, thrown against the closet and stomped. Going to kindergarten with bloody noses. Rough upbringing. Starved. That's one of the reasons that I really struggled with eating is, as a kid, I literally would steal food from my own house and bring it outside and smuggle it outside and eat like a frozen burrito or something terrible. There weren't great options. And, but it led to, my entire life, I struggled with weight because as a kid, I used to go to bed dreaming, just visualizing going to McDonald's and getting whatever I wanted. And so there was a program set that eating equaled freedom. And so for my whole life, I struggled. I was, 255 pounds, 230, 220, and I eventually kind of got to 205 before I gave the Lord permission to really rein that area in. And now I'm like 180, 185 or something like that. And so I've always, one thing that the Lord gave me is I delight in discipline. I love progress. I love it. Like, I do a lot of the same things every single day. And right now I'm looking forward to tomorrow's routine. I mean, I can't help it. I'm really looking forward to it. Like I look forward when I go to bed, I just think about my routine. And so he didn't, most things that I've ever tried, I sucked at. I sucked at sports, I sucked at sales, I sucked on video, I sucked at speaking, I sucked at all these things. But I just delighted in discipline. I delight in progress. I delight in getting better at things. And so I just get better. And, I have I don't have a wide range of, I don't play a lot of golf. I don't play a lot of, I don't do a lot of things I think maybe other guys do. I don't know. But I just I hone in on something and I want to become the best in the world at that thing. And so, speaking, sales, video, that sort of thing. And then when I came to the Lord in November of 2022, it was scripture. It was just mastering, it's not that I've mastered, I don't know that you can, but but just really becoming aware and knowledgeable about Scripture, which led me to, this is more about having a relationship than just having head knowledge. So it's not just about me just spitting out Scripture. It's not about knowing about God, it's about knowing God. And so just to go back a little bit, these traits that God, blessed me with, the trait of delighting in discipline, I built a Inc. 5000 company, built a coaching company that's generated over $30 million, was the number one income earner of a network marketing company, best-selling author, I've written 8 books, and shared the stage with most rock stars. I spoke at 10X, spoke at Funnel Hacking Live, I've shared the stage with Tony and most of the rock stars out there. But at the end of 2019, I had accomplished so many of the goals that I had, but something was missing. I didn't know what it was. It was very frustrating. And so I went through an identity kind of crisis for several years, where I was trying to figure out like what's wrong with me. Why I thought this would make me happy. Why didn't it make me happy? And it wasn't until 2022 that I really understood what was missing.
What was the experience that shifted you into actually, like, whether God called you, or how did that take place?
Yeah, so 2020, I remember I spoke in, this was I think February, I speak in Detroit, I come back, I speak in Orlando, and there was this talk about this thing called COVID. And what's interesting is a couple months earlier, I just spoken for 600 Chinese delegates, and so that's interesting.
On what?
So it was for a network marketing company. Okay. They had flown them out to that was in Cancun, I think.
It wasn't a Enagic, was it?
No.
Okay.
Although I do a lot of work. I do a lot of work with Enagic, a lot.
That was my first.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've coached, I think 8 of their $1 million earners.
Wow.
And so, but no, it's for a different company.
Okay.
And so, we were kind of joking about it, to be honest, because it's like, COVID. And, the next month I have 10 speaking engagements, shut down. My whole, the whole world, everything's turned upside down, and the quarantine and everything is kind of crazy. And so I went on a very different search. I didn't know, maybe I needed healing. Like, I tried a lot of different therapy. I tried hypnosis. I did 2 years of meditation. So I did 1 to 3 hours a day of meditation. Because again, I delight in discipline, right? Mm-hmm. So I figured out that melatonin was at the highest at 2 a.m. So I'd wake up at 2 a.m. I'd do a 90-minute meditation every single day for 2 years. Wow. Okay. And that stuff, I know a lot of Christians like to bash that stuff, but it helped me. It wasn't the answer, but it helped me. It helped me like get rid of some anger that I had. It helped me, calm my mind, and it was helpful. I don't do it today, but I also don't bash it. It was I think it was September of 2022. My wife spoke at a women's event in Nashville, and she came back and she said, "Hey, I met someone you should talk to." I'm like, okay. And so he lives in Miami. I live in Naples. We get on a Zoom. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. First words out of his mouth on the Zoom is, "I see a big vision for you and God." And I'm like, oh, okay.
Immediately would have repelled me.
Yeah. Because I didn't grow up in the church. Yeah. I didn't know one verse. Like I figured he's raising money or something. Like, I'm very cynical, skeptical. Yeah. And we talked for like an hour. None of it makes sense, but it feels true. And so, I'm kind of weirded out because we were very new age. I mean, we had crystals everywhere. We were manifestation and everything.
I had that for 4 years.
Yeah.
But he used it.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. And so the next day, so I'm a little confused. Why did she have me talk with him? And the next day we go to a place in Naples called Seed to Table. It's a very popular place. And there's a big networking event there. And I walk upstairs and I see this guy that I'd met him before. I'd probably met him several times. I didn't remember his name, didn't know what. And so he's doing something, and he looks over at me, and he sees me. First words he says, "I see a big vision for you and God." I'm like, whoa. Like, that's word for word what the other guy said. They don't know each other. This is weird. And he goes, "We got to pray." Now, this guy, 6'5", former corrections officer, Marine Corps. I mean, he's just a gorilla of a man. Puts his big bear paws on me, gets me in a prayer clutch, and he's like, just fire and brimstone, right? I mean, he's like, "Oh, face a fork in the road, and you gotta choose God." I mean, he's just yelling it, and we're in the middle of a networking function.
Yeah.
Like people are eating, and like all around us, everyone's seated. We're standing. He's 6'5".
You're like eyes closed, imagining everybody just
and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is said. I don't know what happens, but I start weeping. I start shaking. Looking back, I mean, I think that was just Holy Spirit just rocking my world. And at some point, it feels like 20 minutes. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. At some point, I'm like, man, this is embarrassing. I know a lot of these people. We come out of the prayer clutch and no one saw anything. Now, I could have smacked people in the face, and he's yelling. I mean, just like a fire and brimstone like preacher, and no one saw anything. No one batted an eye. The waiters and waitresses were walking back and forth. It was just like we were covered in a bubble. It was so weird. And I had to ask my wife, I'm like, that really happened, right? And she goes, yeah, it was crazy. And so I still don't know what to do. I still wrestled with it for a couple weeks, and eventually, after a couple weeks, I call the original guy. He brings a guy from church, and we, formally accept, Christ. And, the next day, I wake up and I'm different. Like my DNA is different. Like I did 2 years of meditation. I know my body.
Yeah.
When my feet hit the floor, not the same feet. And I'm looking at my hands. I'm looking at the sunrise. Like things are in different colors. I'm like, this is crazy. And I get this just huge nudge to pray, but I don't know how to pray. I've never prayed. I don't know, what does that look like? And so I just get on my knees and I'm like, God, tell me what to do. I'll be obedient. You want me to shut the business down? And I literally say, if you want me on the road with a robe, tell me, I'll do it. And first thing I get, go live. And I'm like, oh, you ever do that? Right? You're like, Lord, tell me what to do. It tells you like, ooh, anything else? And so he's like, go live. I'm like, oh man. I mean, I've been a public speaker for 20 years, never said the word God from stage or on video or anything. And so I wrestle with it for a few hours, and then I eventually go live, and I call it my apology to God. And 50,000 people see it day one. The wildest thing is over 200 people messaged me from all over the world, and it's like they were in cahoots. It was almost like they copy pasted the same message. I've been woken up in the middle of the night to pray for you. No one had ever told me that. None of them. And some of them said, I've been woken up in the middle of the night for years to pray for you. But no one, because if anyone ever told me that, I'd be like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Judgmental.
You got repelled.
Okay, whatever. Yeah. And I just see that God protected me from me, because my contrary personality would have been repelled. I would have been like, oh, okay, whatever, and he protected me from that, yet still enlisted people to do it. Wow. And so that kicked off the journey, and it's been a wild adventure ever since.
That's so amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, happy to.
That's really cool. It's interesting because actually my wife prayed for me for 2 years.
Wow.
Without me even knowing.
Wow.
For me to find God, or for him to call me.
Wow.
And I didn't know this, but I was actually leading her away from Christ because I was in New Age spirituality.
Yeah.
And I mean, statistics show that the where the man is religiously,
right,
90% of the time, the wife and kids will follow, but the other way around, it's like 10%. If the woman is leading them religiously.
Right.
Which is what happened in my household growing up. My mom was Catholic, always wanted to go to church. My dad didn't really want to be involved in it.
Yeah.
And so I was forced to go to Sunday school, all of that. And so because it was forced, and because I didn't see my father doing it, I rebelled. Yeah. And then because nobody could answer and all the other things that happened, I eventually was like, I had a visceral response where I was truly repelled by the word God, Jesus, amen, and all of it, right? So, and then, my wife tells a story about how I saw the Bible like on her table, I'm like, you read that thing?
Oh no.
Meanwhile, now I'm here,
Oops.
right? Like a few years later,
Yeah.
running a Make Men Godly Again podcast, just like crazy what God can do.
It's awesome.
It is. It is
Awesome.
So I want to talk about this book. So
Okay.
so you just, and I was gonna wait till the end, and then I was telling you before we got on that today, like right before as I was praying, that just this kind of shift happened where there's some things in the book that just kind of framed everything I want to talk about in a beautiful way. So it's faith-driven wealth.
Yep.
Okay. So this just came out maybe a month and a half.
I think maybe 2 months now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
And I was blessed. I was like shouting him out. I was blessed. Yeah, John Maxwell wrote the foreword,
Yes.
which is super cool.
yeah,
He's
that's-
amazing.
Yeah. And I didn't know that he was a believer.
Well, he's 25 years a pastor before he ever trained anybody.
So the only thing that
Yeah.
I've only read a couple of his leadership books.
Yeah.
But I think that even if he mentioned anything about faith,
Yeah.
at that time I was so repelled by it, I probably couldn't even see the words
Yeah.
or anything.
How powerful is that?
Yeah.
How many people follow him and learn from him that aren't of faith, but the closer they get to him, the
Yeah.
closer they also get to faith.
Yeah.
He's great. You know,
Yeah.
he said to me, because I really struggled with my identity when I first came to Christ, and he said to me, he goes, earn the right to share your faith, give them value so that they wonder,
Yeah.
right? So they wonder what's the underpinning, and I'm probably a little bit more. Well, I am a little more faith forward. I just stay in step with the Spirit, but I do think about that because I have a lot of clients that started out not Christian and asking me not to talk about faith, but a lot of times the Lord moves them and they end up becoming Christian.
Yeah.
Which
I've
is cool.
actually had a lot of my clients that are men who had religious wounds
Yeah.
and church hurt.
Yeah.
And so I'd been working with them for a year, 2 years before we even had a conversation about God.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then because I had to heal my religious wound
Yep.
in order to build a relationship with him
Yeah.
that truly was fruitful
Beautiful.
and intimate, it ended up, of course, as we do, which I think we'll dive into in chapter 7, God has an anointed brand for you, right?
Yeah.
I was helping these guys through exactly what I had just went through.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So in chapter 3 is walk by faith, not by sight.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
That's
give
the
us
hardest.
what's that?
That's very hard for most people.
Yeah, and it's been the last year of my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna share a little bit with you because I think there'll be some
Yeah.
stuff you'll be able to point out that I think will help other people mirror
Yeah.
to other people what is going on in their life and
Yeah.
how they can walk in faith better.
Yeah.
But I'd love to just hear an example. I know a lot you've shared a lot, but there's a lot
Yeah.
that's probably gone on since
Sure.
when it comes to an example of where there was significant uncertainty, where it made zero sense at all and
Sure.
turned out to be more beautiful or amazing than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah. Oh man. So first, just I think the primary kind of walk by faith, not by sight is, I think for most of us, you can replace sight with logic. Walk by faith, not by logic. And so the number one big example to get is don't focus on the situation. And so Jesus never focused on the situation. So he's in the boat sleeping. And if you think about he wasn't on a yacht. All right,
Yeah.
First century Jewish. He's on a tiny little rinky-dink boat that could very easily go under.
Yeah.
And but he's sleeping during the storm. Okay, so we are the disciples. When there's a storm, we think God's not around. Right? He's going to let us die. And so they wake Jesus up, and he calms the storm. He doesn't react to the storm. He doesn't say, "Oh my goodness, you're right. Oh man, I almost missed this. Thanks for waking me." He doesn't react. He just calms the storm. And so the biggest key that will serve you so much, and I'm not saying it's easy, is don't look at the situation. Look to God. Look to Him. And so and faith, really, if you really boil it down, faith is knowing how much He loves you. Because if I know how much He loves me, then the situation is for my benefit. So the lawsuit's for my benefit. The prognosis is for my benefit. The terminations and for my benefit. The client that quits is my benefit.
The getting scammed out of $500,000.
That's right.
And finding yourself $1 million in debt to 27 investors, also for your benefit.
It is.
Yeah.
And so, I like different, versions, but Matthew 5:3-4 in the Message Bible says, you're blessed when you're at the end of your rope, because then there's less of you and more of him, right? So sometimes God will allow things to get us to that end of that rope to finally draw us closer to him. And the key is to learn the lesson. Now, one of my mentors, Graham Cook, he says, with God, you can't fail a test. You're just given an unlimited amount of tries to pass. And so what happens is if you keep looking at the storm, if you keep looking at the situation and you just don't learn, more situations are coming, more storms are coming, and he's trying to get you, please look at me. Like, look to me. Can you just look at me? I'm bigger than that. I'm not surprised by that. That's not that big of a deal, really.
Yeah.
And so, so I've just had it over and over and over. I went through a period where, when I went through my identity crisis, money went from just really, really easy, millions and millions and millions of dollars, to all of a sudden started getting a little tougher, a little tighter. And then I had a $2 million investment go up in smoke, a $500,000 investment go up in smoke, a $250,000 investment go up in smoke. Because of contracts I booked around COVID, all of a sudden I'm looking at a hotel contract of 1.3 million, looking at a second one of 1.2 million, and all this money goes out the window, and I'm like, what the heck? And so I remember in 2023, I'm just sweating over this COVID contract that I had to push forward for years, and now it's either fulfill it or pay $700,000, right, to get out of it. Can't do that either. And so I'm in this contract, and I'm praying. I'm just like, Lord, what am I supposed to do? And I get, you need to hire a speaker. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't understand. This is a lot of expenses. I don't need to spend more. And nudged me to hire John Maxwell. And I got called to go all in with him, have him coach some of my clients. So that was over $200,000. And all right, Lord, this is you telling me to do it. You're gonna provide. Logically, that made absolutely no sense at all, none. But I did it. It was an amazing event. Obviously, later he writes my forward, and we become friends, and I've done a lot of cool stuff with him. And so it's not looking at the situation. It's just so key. And I have every example you can imagine. I remember I just got done meeting with David Green, who's the founder of Hobby Lobby. And so this guy as a kid dreamed of being a dime store manager that'd make him the most successful guy in his family, but instead he launches Hobby Lobby, which does $8 billion a year. They have 44,000 employees, 1,055 stores, and again, $8 billion a year. He actually donates 50% of profits every year. He's funded over 1 billion children hearing the gospel. Crazy, right?
What a dream.
Amazing, right? And he's so humble. And so I met him in Oklahoma City at Hobby Lobby headquarters, which is millions of square feet. It's unbelievable. And just so humble. And I talked to him about bringing my mom to Christ, and he loves his mom. So if you ever go to Hobby Lobby, there's always a picture of his mom in there.
Yeah.
And who passed. But just a humble guy. And I tell him, well, the next day I ask one of my morning questions, and that I shared it with you earlier. It was the question I ask it every day. Father, how can I walk in faith today? I don't get a question every day, but anytime I do get an answer, or I don't get an answer every day, but every time I do, it's something that makes me uncomfortable. So on that day, I got, call your dad, tell him about your faith. I'm like, ooh. Now, first of all, I hadn't talked to my dad on the phone for 20 years. And
20 years, okay. And this is the first call.
Yeah. And so, I call him. Now, I had seen him earlier for the first time in 13 years that year, because I went to his brother's funeral. God called me to go there. And so I get on the phone with him, and I said, hey, I just wanted to share some stuff with you. And so I share with him how I'd created success, found something was missing, found Jesus, and I tell him, and there's a prayer that changed my life, and I'm happy to, share it with you and have you say it if you'd like. He goes, okay. I'm like,
that easy.
Okay. And so I say it, he repeats it, and he accepts Christ, and I put the phone down, and I'm still in Oklahoma City. I'm in this hotel, and I put the phone down, and it's so quiet, like there's no one around me, and I just bawl, right? And so every time I've walked in faith, I wasn't told what the provision would be.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I wasn't told even what the promise would be, but it was something awesome, and it was something miraculous. And, he's had me, go into restaurants and, and pray for the waitress. And I've had it where her best friend just died, or I've had it where her son just died. And he literally sent me in there to pray with that person. And it's just such an adventure, and it's just so cool. Like I can't comprehend living my life just by my logic anymore. I can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
And so he just guides me. He'll guide you in all your ways. And he says that all throughout Proverbs. You can replace just try it out. You can replace the word wisdom, every area it's used in Proverbs, with Holy Spirit. And so every, the seven spirits, the calls in the marketplace, you can just replace it. Holy Spirit will guide you as much as you're willing. And, not to be a servant, but to have the most adventurous and awesome life. And so that's what we get to do when you walk by faith. My wife asked me one time, she goes, do any of your prayers actually make sense? And because a lot of times it's a move that just is wild. Like, why would I do this?
Yeah.
I remember, I don't share it in that book, but the book before that one, I was asked to speak in Arizona at a business leader event. There's 500 business leaders, and I pray. I'm like, all right, Lord, what am I covering? And I get, I want you to read Isaiah 53, and I was, I didn't know that one off the top of my head, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I read it. It's all about Jesus. Now, this event had Orthodox Jewish, New Age, non-believers, and some Christians. And so I want you to read Isaiah 53, and I want you to do an altar call. And I'm like, oh man, this isn't even a Christian event. This is a business leader event, 500 people from all over the world. And so I'm like, oh man, you're gonna have to help me with this, man. And so I do it. I shakily, I stutter through it. I do it. It's pandemonium. I mean, there's weeping, there's people leaving, it's just crazy. But since then, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have come to Christ. Entire sales teams have come to Christ. And it's just been amazing. We baptized one lady in the hotel pool. Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And the leader, we have dinner, we were scheduled to have dinner with her that night. And my wife is like, I don't know how we can even show her face. She's like, that was crazy. And I'm like, babe, I didn't want to do that. The Lord was calling me to do it. He's going to cover it. And so we meet with the leader, and she said, as soon as she realized what I was doing, she starts praying, and she's like, Lord, should I stop him? Like, and she gets, it's not your event, it's mine. Let him finish. And so she thanked me for my obedience, and
wow.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And so there's so many of those things that are not logical. That's not logical.
Yeah.
And just so many of those things that they're just not logical until you can look back and be like, well, wait a minute, wow. Like, if I didn't do that, then that wouldn't have happened. And just incredible.
I just experienced something like that we'll get to, where God brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
And it was to a point where I really couldn't understand why. Because I had such deep level of faith and trust that he was going to provide. And he didn't for the first time ever.
Okay.
And I felt something break in me. And then all of a sudden I started to struggle with trust. And it took about 2 weeks for everything to unfold, for the purpose to reveal itself.
Yeah.
That couldn't have possibly happened if he did not bring me to that place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But now a shout out from our head sponsor, Wake Up Warrior. After being a client for the last year, God has called me to partner with Garrett J. White in a way that I couldn't have seen coming, and I am extremely excited about the impact that is unfolding. Whether you are a man who is looking to build something big without sacrificing his health, his marriage, his relationship with his kids, and his relationship with God, or you've already built something big and have tasted what it's like to have it all from a worldly perspective, ending up still feeling empty, hollow, and disconnected from God, Warrior has the tools, systems, mentorship, and brotherhood to help you truly have it all. If you're committed to evolving, interested in learning more, and you are in a place to be able to invest in yourself, text me personally at 786-458-8192. Not only will I get you a free Warrior Book 2.0, but we'll hop on a call, connect, and see if any of the pathways in Warrior are right for you. Again, if that's you, shoot me a text at 786-458-8192. All of these examples are so powerful because, you know, the first one you share, you know, half the audience might not relate to it or have an experience to relate to it, but one of those most people are going to be able to relate to, if not relate to soon, because they're in their walk. Yeah. Right. So I was telling you before that, you know, my walking by faith, not by sight, has really been this last year for me. And it's interesting because just recently, I feel like he's placed on my heart almost like a prophecy kind of thing on my heart of me writing a book specifically on that, right? But in January, he placed on my heart to write a book called Healing from Hell to Having It All. Nice. Except for I'm still in the midst of getting to the having it all part. So I have the two, part 1 and 2 written, but not the third one. It's like being written in real life right now. Yeah. But now all this other one's coming in. It's like really interesting to be navigating all that. But this last year, actually about a year ago, I was in my Bible stack, just having direct communion with him. So similar to prayer, but he was just speaking to me through scripture. And he guided me to Genesis 12 with the story of Abraham. The blessing of Abraham. Yeah. And was telling me essentially to walk away from my company, I Believe in You. So I have a startup that I've been building now for 4 years. Wow. And that's the company that we had invested at $500,000, ended up in that whole debacle in 2023. Debacle or debacle, I always say it wrong. But in last year, he asked me to walk away from it. Yeah. I'm like, I must be hearing you wrong. Because we're $1 million in debt, 27 investors, like I got a lot of responsibility. I've also been building this for a long time. How could I possibly do that? So I prayed on it for like 2 weeks, and eventually he corrected me. He's like, no, I don't need you to walk away from it. I need you to detach from what it's going to look like. I need you to detach from the vision that you've had for your life to create space for the vision that I have for your life. Amen. And so from that point, I said yes, but there was no reason to have a conversation with my partners at the time. So then for like 6 months, he just goes to work on me. And every single day, there's little tiny corrections and changes. And I was getting addicted to my communication with him because it was just, I couldn't get enough. Even though I was getting convicted and all these things, it truly was the relationship and the feeling of the Holy Spirit was just something that I never want this to leave. No, man. Right? No. And then he went silent for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, you know, where'd you go? Did I do something wrong? I'm like, I sinned and not realize there's something. And I'm new to all this, so I'm just like trying to figure out what's going on. And then after about 2 weeks, I finally get frustrated again in prayer. Seems like when I get super frustrated with him, he's like, all right, I'll give you a bone. But I'm like, you know, where did you go? What did I do wrong? And he finally says so clearly, if you listen and do not hear, it's because you heard and did not act. Yeah. And so I go all the way back to my last clear piece of communication from him in command, and it was something very small. And I didn't obey it.
Yeah.
Because I made the mistake of judging how valuable that small thing was.
Correct.
And I got the reminder of small hinges swing big doors.
Yeah.
And as soon as I obeyed it,
Yeah.
I started hearing from him again.
Yeah.
So probably 4 months pass, and then I find myself in negotiation with a company, Praise Pedal. It's the first women's cycle class where worship meets workout, or workout meets worship.
Neat.
And so I'm consulting for them. They're looking to bring me in as a partner.
Cool.
So I'm negotiating equity for that with them. And then also at the same time, the conversation comes in with I believe in you again, where now it's time to give up some of the equity that I have.
Yeah.
And he gives me this vision of this hill. And there's 2 paths around the hill. One is Praise Pedal, one is I believe in you. And he asked me to say no to both and walk up the hill without any idea what's on the other side.
Nice.
And during the same week, he told me, again in prayer, I need your courage to be equal to your faith so that you can take one step without any knowledge of the next. And
Yeah.
right?
That's faith.
Yeah.
That's
And
not sight.
Yeah.
You can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I end up saying no to Praise Pedal.
Yeah.
And which was like, felt like such a big opportunity. It was the first business that would be also expanding his kingdom. So I thought it was from him.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm confused here.
Yeah.
Right? And then obviously with I believe in you, is like, you're not selling this. You're giving it back.
Yeah.
And so what I heard was 7.5. Right. And I'm like, I'm supposed to go down to 7.5 from 25. Right? It was this whole like wrestle. And I ended up going down to 15. So I gave away 10. I gave it back with nothing in exchange. I gave it to my business partner, the CEO.
Yeah.
And but I was struggling, and I'm like, God, I want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. I don't want to take a baby step when you're telling me to jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm not trying to step towards the cliff when you're telling me to jump off the cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And but I still ended up doing that because then a whole bunch of other series of events happened. But in this, I'm like, oh, like I'm not getting, like you were saying, I'm not getting a promise or like what is going to come next.
Yeah.
He just asked me to do something hard that I'm attached to.
Yeah.
That we're going to get into it, but also an idol.
Yes.
Right. And so then maybe a month later, my wife gets really sick. We find out that she has breast implant illness.
Oh no.
And she has to get an explant surgery. So we have to come out of pocket for all of it.
Yeah.
Wipes out our savings.
Wow.
And just finally got ourselves into the green after everything that happened with that investment.
Yeah.
And wipes out our savings.
Wow.
And then right after, he calls us to move to Miami. And it was
From New Orleans.
from Scottsdale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in Scottsdale for the
Okay.
last 5 years.
Okay.
And so zero reason. I didn't know anybody out here. I knew Garrett had just moved out here.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like close with him or anything. I
Yeah.
had been in one of his programs a year ago.
Yeah.
And had never even been here before.
Yeah.
Neither of us have. No idea. Like
Yeah.
we were not planning on moving out of state at all.
Yeah.
And pretty much immediately just said yes because it was so clear for both of us.
Great.
And so again, not by sight.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense. Financially, definitely doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We're searching for houses and trying to find somewhere
Yeah.
to live. And we're under like 30 days. We've already given away half our stuff.
Yeah.
We're like selling everything we own, giving away everything. And now we're under 30 days. We still don't have a place to live. No clarity on why we're going there. Nothing. We're leaving. We built an incredible community, and most of my business was there. Like everything that we had built was in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
And now he wants to just walk away from all of it without any explanation. And so we ended up doing a 5-day fast.
Yeah.
And so we're just praying every day.
Yeah.
Together, just like asking for some clarity around the house.
Yeah.
And then I was praying separately, like I was feeling, I had a group coaching program that I thought was from him. Like I got a dream that I thought was very clearly from him. I'll never know. But I was feeling like something was off with it.
Yeah.
And so I was just praying on that. I'm like, God, all I want to do is just build a business that glorifies you and a family that glorifies you. That's it. Like at this point, I don't even care about anything else anymore.
Yeah.
So just please give me some clarity. And so on day 4 of the fast, we are real estate investors out here doing FaceTimes, looking at places, finds like just 1 hour in her day, like randomly on a Saturday where she was in Cutler Bay, South Miami, and found a house that I had already said no to, but I didn't realize it. And so she got us to do a FaceTime. And at the end of it, my wife's like, that's it. And we felt called to it, but it was significantly outside the budget of what we were looking to do. I'm like, hold on. Like if he's calling us here,
he'll
and nothing makes sense.
He'll write the check. Yeah.
I'm like, but then there's this challenge with like stewardship.
Yeah.
Right? Where I'm like, is this poor stewardship?
Yeah.
Or is this me trusting God?
Yeah, yeah.
Which one is it?
Yeah.
And so then it's like, depending on your idols, that you could be hearing wrong. So I'm worried, right? I'm like, I don't know. And nothing makes sense. Like we definitely don't have enough to put down 2 deposits and first month's rent.
Yeah.
Plus moving, furniture, all that.
Yeah.
And so we just say yes anyways.
Yeah.
So we're literally driving across the country without any idea if I'm going to be able to, in that week, I'm trying to do promos and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea if I'm going to have enough money for us to actually get the keys.
Yeah.
We're 2 days out, still didn't have enough.
Yeah.
And then like the day before, we like did all the math. And we're like, we'll have $90 left over. We'll be able to get some groceries.
Yeah.
And that's with $400 allocated to a mattress.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting a mattress and 2 desks, and we ended up having that for the next 2.5 months. Because what happened as soon as we got here, crazy desert season. Yeah. Both of our revenues in our business cut in half.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
And it was just like so much like faith required.
Yeah.
And nothing making sense. All the people closest to us, our families, everybody's like, what are you, like, they don't have a relationship with God the way that we do. I'm so lucky that she's equally yoked and like really every day and up until recently with my schedule change, we would do a Bible stack every morning separately. And then we would go for a walk together and talk about it.
Nice.
And so it's been such an incredible journey together. But and then even what's happened over the last few months, it's just the walk by faith, not by sight. And what I know is going to happen is something far beyond what I could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
I know that there's something I'm going to be able to give to others. Yeah. Right. Whether it is, if this book is right, if I'm accurate in what I'm feeling he's calling me to do, or even just sharing these testimonials and these conversations. It's something that I'm like, I just wish I could come up with the words that would make somebody, like, help them just fully embody that. And so I'm praying on that he'll give me that.
Okay, say that one more time. What do you?
I pray that he helps me put together the words where I can express that to people in a way where it'll truly help them shift from the walking by sight to walking by faith. Yeah. Right? Because it's been such a gift for me. Yeah. That it's something I want to be able to give to others, but I just don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So first, you sharing all that, I'm sure you enjoyed the book, because it's very much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I've
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And a big part of why I'm like, we have to sit down.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I've gone through every season of not hearing from him, and really boiled it down to 3 scriptures: Isaiah 59, 1 and 2, which is, it's not that his arm's too short to reach you, but your iniquities keep you from him. So there are times where I was in a rush, didn't honor him or something. And it's not like he was like, hey, you didn't honor me. Yeah. He's trying to help me. He's like, bro, if you honor me, you're going to be blessed. Like, keep doing that. Yeah. And then idols of the heart, Ezekiel 14, 2 through 5. I had 3 idols of the heart where I was emotionally attached to, and I would constantly get wrong answers. And it's also, I forget the location, but it's also one of the Proverbs that says, hey, if you're praying but not doing, like, why am I answering you, basically? Yeah. And so it is important. One thing I would add, which is a new understanding even since the book, just a couple months ago, is you can find out, and he wants to tell you his promises, but he won't always tell you his provision. See, we want to know, is this going to make $1 million? Is this going to cover that? Is this, what's the numbers on this? What's the stats on this? And I found he never tells me that, ever. He never tells me that, but he'll tell me the promise. And I just have to have the patience and believe that, I think it's Isaiah 55, it says, his words will not return to him void. So if he tells you a promise, it's going to happen. And that promise, so he's given me lots of promises, but you have to ask for those.
Yeah.
Lord, what are you doing for me in my business? He told me freedom. I'm creating freedom. And he has, it's amazing. But there's other promises, and so one of the questions I teach people to ask is, Lord, what did you intend for me to be when you made me? So the first time I heard that answer, I just bawled.
Yeah.
Because it's so, also from Isaiah 55, his ways are higher than our ways. And so it's, I think that most people that don't understand what we understand about faith versus sight is you think that, well, I got big goals. I don't want to just give them over to God and surrender to God. His ways are higher than your ways.
Yeah.
Like he wants you on a higher hilltop than you can even imagine. He wants you the light of the world, the city on the hill that can't be hidden. And that's actually much greater. So if I succumb and I surrender myself to my wife, I mean, she's wonderful and beautiful and awesome and amazing, but I lose a part of myself. I do. Like any man that is like, all right, whatever you want me to do, wife, whatever career for me, you pick it. Like, you lose a piece of yourself. When you surrender yourself to the Lord, he knit you, he made you, you're actually elevated, right? So you have your goals. He has goals way more fulfilling, way more purposeful, that is way more powerful and high. And so that's just, what I did. And he gave me words I would never have professed to myself. Never. I mean, when I asked that question, Lord, what did you intend for me to be when you made me? I mean, he gave me this word. I'm like, wow. Now, he didn't give me provision. He didn't say, you're going to be a billionaire. Like, I didn't get that. But I got a very specific thing that I don't share, but a very specific thing that is so much higher than any goal I've ever had. And I'm like, wow. So now I just have to walk in the promise.
Yeah.
And so when you want to learn the promises, and I think the one of the big steps for me of stepping out of servanthood and into sonship is, you have a kid on the way, but for those of us with kids, your kids are curious, so like my daughter, she's 9 years old, firecracker, and she'll be like, hey, what are you doing? And she's just curious, what are you up to? What are you doing? And she'll ask me that. And I'm like, oh, I'm working on this, we're going to be selling this, and she's curious. And so we should be that way too. Mm-hmm. So he nudged me about, I don't think this is in the book either, but about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, he nudged me to do a Monday business journal. And every Monday, and I look forward to it every other day, but every Monday I have a list of all of my projects and some personal things, me personally, my business, all these different projects. And when he first called me to do that, I thought, oh, he's going to guide me on what to do. Great, and so I'd say, all right, Lord, what do I do about this? And at first I would get some answers, and then I started not getting any answers. So there must be something I'm not doing right here. And so I'd ask, all right, what do you want me to do? No answer, no answer, no answer. I would ask, Lord, do you want me to do this? Yes. Okay. What do you want me to do with this, nothing? I wouldn't get an answer. I'm like, what the heck? And so I realized he wants me to know what he's doing. And so I took that list of projects. I'm like, all right, Lord, what are you doing here? And he told me exactly what he's doing. He's like, this one, I'm growing. This one, I'm repositioning. This one, I'm moving you and one other person. I'm tweaking it. I'm refining it. He told me the exact details for every single project, the season, what he's doing, and it gave me absolute freedom.
Oh my gosh.
Because I had projects that I'm like, why isn't this growing? It wasn't in a growth season. I didn't say I was growing that. And so now, one of the biggest lessons I learned, and we're now partners on a project, but Graham Cook, he said, most people just pray willy-nilly. Please heal my uncle. Please, give me this project. Give me more money. Pay the bills, right? Jesus said, your will on earth as it is in heaven. And so it's not just this lame, whatever your will is, Lord. It's find out his will. What's your will? And let me pray for that to be done, because that's a guarantee, man. That's an absolute guarantee. So I just find out his will. What's your will for this project? And what I found is this, I'll give you a precise example. So I had a sales team, and it hadn't been going great, but I wasn't really sure what to do. And, and I'd prayed every week, like, Lord, what should I do about these guys? Nothing. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, Lord, what are you doing about these guys? Nothing. Should I be doing anything with them? No. Do I need to fire them? No. I'm like, okay, now I'm confused. And then I got, it'll work out. And within a week, it had worked out. They quit.
No way.
Yeah. And so I just know,
hitting me so hard right now.
I just know the status of every single thing I'm working on. I don't work on anything that he's not with me. Exodus 33, Moses said, if your presence won't go with us, please don't send us away. If your presence isn't on a project, I don't care if it's $1 billion. Yes. I don't care if it's on stage in front of 1 million people. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And so, I want to know what are you doing with this? And it prepares me for, okay, this is in growth season. All right. This one we're repositioning. So I'll be like, okay, let's think about what do we need to do here, Lord? Help. Thanks for, so I just, your will on earth as it is in heaven. And that to me is more sonship. Because wouldn't the son say, hey, what are you doing with those fields over there? Like, what projects are we working on? Like, you wouldn't just say, all right, boss, you want me to go plow the field? You'd say, what are we doing? What's the end goal? Because you're a son, right? When you accepted Christ, he abides in you, you abide in him. You're a son. You're not, like a Holy Spirit, please come. Holy Spirit's with you. Yeah. Right? He abides in you. It's not visitation, it's habitation. So you are a son of God. You're a daughter of God. And act like it.
So I actually felt like a lot of people feel like they do this, but it's not actually happening. They just they're being dramatic. I felt like it was actually happening because and also at the same time kind of slapped myself in the forehead, but I'm also obviously my journey's my journey. He's had me sit down with you for a reason.
For sure.
But I'm I can't believe I haven't been asking that question. I've been asking what do you want me to do with this? What do you want me to do with this?
That's servanthood.
I have not asked
That's servanthood. Yeah.
Yeah, which as with my former career and everything, I've got the serving part down. I've just shifted to who I'm serving.
Yeah.
But I have never asked him what he's doing in it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I think this is a great segue into, did you have anything else on that?
The only other thing I'll say is, so I do that. He has me do that for me. I mean, it may vary. Yeah. But for me, every Monday morning after my prayer, I do my business journal. He tells me exactly what everything is doing. And I'm like, Lord, do I need to add anything to this? And he'll tell me if there is. But every day I do my, standard, I follow the format of Psalm 100-4, which is you enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. So I every morning, first thing I do, I give him thanks, I give him praise. And then I ask, Lord, today, what are you praying for me? And it varies. Some days it's I pray that you have a great day. I pray that it's a big day. I pray that it's a profitable day. I get that sometimes. I pray that it's a day that you love. And so I just come alongside him and I just say, Father, I thank you and I pray that I have a day that I love. Father, I thank you and I pray that I have a great day. And so every day I know what he's praying for me. Every week I know the status of all my projects and it's just freeing because I know.
Well, and so that's the thing that's hitting me is that there's a level of freedom and peace inside that question.
Yes.
Because you will get the answer.
Yeah.
And so all the times that I was asking him, what do you want me to do with this? Especially when it's so confusing.
Yeah.
I was asking the wrong question because it wasn't something I needed to do anything with. It was something he was doing it with.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh. So I dropped what I was going to say because I wanted to make sure I was present, not holding on to it.
Yeah.
But so I want to segue this into the conversation, which is chapter 4 within the book of what are the idols in your heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So
huge.
We're going to get into a specific part with our wives because this was the part when I was watching yours and Cap's conversation that I'm like, this is the level of timing and God using my business partner to send me this, and then using you to highlight it was a whole thing. So I'm gonna kind of fill you in on some stuff between where we left off in my story up to now, and then I'm gonna share. I actually had like the Holy Spirit like had me on my face at the altar, and then it has me grab my notebook and start writing something.
Nice.
Which was I'd never experienced that before. So I took a picture of that. I'm gonna read that to you.
Okay.
It's just great. And I think that the message itself is so important for anybody who might be struggling financially.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously we got here, and we didn't know how. Like we got here on the 15th, and we had just enough, right? We had that, and then we had $90 extra.
Yeah.
And 15 days later, we need another 4K.
Yeah.
Right. Plus whatever else for utilities, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
No idea where it's coming.
Yeah.
Because especially now, just like everything had been stripped down to a certain point within my business and my wife's. And so I'm like, I have no idea what it doesn't look like. My reoccurring is not going to cover everything that we have with all of our expenses. And sure enough, a couple of days right before rent's due, I get a referral from a client that I hadn't talked to in a year.
Of course.
They close, right?
Yeah.
And it covers everything. And then 3 weeks later, my wife has a dream, and so God speaks to my wife through dreams.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I have a very recent revelation between my wife and I that I'm happy to share after.
Do you want to share now? We'll pause and I'll come back to that.
So the other day, I really mean the other day.
Yeah.
I literally mean this past weekend.
Okay.
I realized I still had one area of frustration in my life, and it was that my wife would hear things in prayer, supposedly, and I would get no on it. And so she would get, hey, I think we're supposed to invest in this thing. I would pray, I'd get no. And now I got to deliver the news, right? And so it, she's feeling discarded. I'm feeling annoyed. Like Lord, we're one. Like why is this happening? And so, but I had asked maybe little questions around it, but I'd never gone to the throne.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Lord, you got to help me with this. This is happening over and over and over. I know that she feels dismissed. I know that she feels discarded, but I bring you what she tells me, and you tell me no. What am I to do here? Clearly, this is not what you want. And he said, Ray, I speak to her more prophetically. I speak to her about things that are to come. So you're not to discard it. You're to write them down, and I'm going to tell you when to execute. Because he doesn't tell me I don't know anything about tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know what he wants me to do tomorrow. He tells me what to do today.
Yep.
And so she was bringing me this, I think we need to do this, and they are his ideas. He gave them to her. I'm just to steward them. And so it doesn't mean discard them, but it also doesn't mean to do them right away. And so he's giving her ideas. I need to pay attention to them. And so I went back to him with some of the things, and he's like, not now, not now, not now, not now. But pay attention to these, because there will come a time. And so I told her that, and it unified us so much.
Oh my God.
Because I hate telling her, no, you're not hearing that in prayer. I would never say that, but I'm basically saying, I'm getting a no, I'm sorry. And she feels discarded, and frustrated. And so that really, really helped.
Wow.
And so I don't know if that helps your story.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But he does, and he told me, I've had maybe one dream that he's definitely spoken to me in. She has it all the time. He's like, Ray, I speak to her prophetically, more prophetically than you, and I speak to her in dreams, and I don't speak to you much in dreams. Yeah. I'm like, well, I'd like to be spoken to in dreams too, but whatever.
Yeah.
But okay, I got it. He explained to me that we're such a great match of, he's given me the instructions and knows he has full confidence I'm going to execute, but he's telling her these future stuff that I also need to steward.
gosh, my wife is gonna love this part of this conversation. Seriously, there's a lot there. And I think that we haven't had that clarity, but even just hearing this and the things that have come through for her, I think that's exactly what's happening. Very interesting. Okay, so there's actually, I'm gonna, the dream that she had, so this is my other company.
Okay.
So this is a gift for you.
All right.
Okay? And for all your kids and your wife.
Okay.
If they want to wear them.
Okay.
So this is my company, I Believe in You.
Okay.
Okay, so
cool.
This will be for you as well. But so these are bracelets that are designed to be worn until you're inspired to give it away.
Okay.
And then inside the patch is an NFC tag. And you tap that to the back of your phone, opens up our app, and the app captures the journey of the bracelet.
Oh.
Okay, so it's making impact measurable for the first time. Okay, so
cool.
An example would be, say you and I meet in a coffee shop somewhere in the world, and through our conversation, I am inspired to take it off my wrist, give it to you, and tell you I believe in you.
Cool.
And you tap to the back of your phone, say 6 people had it before me.
Yeah.
And give it to you. You'll be able to see everywhere it's traveled in the world on its way to you, who's had it, the stories, the impact that's made on their life, just like a normal social media app. And then once you give it away, you'll forever get to see where it goes, who gets it, and the impact it continues to make. That one's probably small for you.
Oh, okay.
But this one, so they all have I Believe in You on one side, and then the other side is a design. That one has
a bigger one.
Yep, that's a medium.
Okay.
So, and on the other side of that one is I Believe in You in the top 10 languages of the world.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we do like collabs. We just actually locked in a collab with Tony and Dean for mastermind.com.
Nice.
For all of their clients, so they'll all get like a co-branded version of it.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
So,
okay.
There's your other pack.
Thanks,
there.
man.
You're welcome. So she has this dream, right? And in this dream, our mattress is still on the floor in the living room, right? And God tells her, put the bed back in the room, like very sternly, right? And in the dream, she'd asked me to come out of my office into the living room. And as we're talking, there's this animal in the corner, and it's the neighbor's pet. And she's like, we need to give the neighbor his pet back. And I look over, and it's a half bird, half dog. Okay, and its color is like light blue into a dark purple, and she tries to pick it up in the dream, and it like nips at her and like won't let her pick it up, doesn't like her. I go to pick it up, and it starts like nuzzle into me and loves me. And so she repeats it several times that we need to give the pet back to the neighbor.
In the dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the part with me looking over made it sound like I was having the dream too. No. So, and then she hears at the end, like, put the bed back in the room again. And so in the morning, we go do our Bible stacks, we go for our walk, we talk about them, then she tells me about this dream, and it came in so painfully clear. If you look at that packaging, right, what is the colors?
Yeah, like blue and purple.
Like a gradient.
Yeah.
And so, and the animal is a hybrid.
Nice.
And this bracelet the business is a hybrid between a physical product and a mobile app.
Wow.
And the neighbor is my business partner. And so it was a very clear like last push from God, because he was telling me, I didn't listen.
Yeah.
He had said 7.5.
Yeah.
But I didn't go all the way down to 7.5.
Yeah.
And so talking about idols, right? There was not only was a business an idol, but an avenue to wealth.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
still serving the spirit of mammon.
Sure.
In that way.
Yeah.
And it was so obviously clear. And so as soon as she told me that, I set up a meeting with my business partner for the next day, got on, walked him through an hour and a half of like all the conversations that I've had with God over the last year of him asking me to do this.
Yeah.
And that morning I'm like struggling, like, well, maybe I'll, keep like 15% of like my quarterly dividends and so on. I'm like, dude, what? And God's like, no. Like, and you're not selling your equity, you're not doing, like, you're giving it away. And what you're getting in exchange is what I have planned for you. Right? But I'm not going to tell you, because I don't want you to do it for that. I'm asking you to walk in faith. Right? And to get rid of this idol in your heart. And so it was literally chapter 3 and 4 happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I got on and went down to the 7.5. And what it was, because he wanted me to remove myself of all daily and weekly responsibilities for whatever he had next.
Great. Yeah.
Right?
Great space.
Literally the next Monday.
And that's, with Moses, he says, what's in your hand, throw it down. And so a lot of times we have these ideas or these things in our hand, and he wants us to, let it go. It's like, Bartimaeus, he's a blind beggar. And so he takes his cloak and he thrusts it behind. You're a blind beggar. That's your world. That's your mattress. That's your pillow. That's how you gather money. He threw it to the ground. He's still blind. He threw it away. He let go of everything he had to walk toward Jesus. And so that's what we're sometimes called to do.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think what's happening is, like, I was carrying so much that, like, every few steps he has me throwing something else down.
Yeah.
Right. Because the next week, then I was working on my group coaching offer for the last 6 months, working on scaling it. And then all of a sudden, like, everything I've done over the last 6 years, this is the one thing that actually is grounded in God, and it's growing the slowest.
Yeah.
Like, not growing at all.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you need to ask, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, the whole time. That's why I was slapping myself on the forehead, because I was asking the wrong question. Because I'm like, I'm working on this so hard. I know my client.
Yeah.
I know the messaging. It's not working.
Yeah.
Like, why? I thought you gave this to me.
Yeah.
And he sent me, gosh, I think it's in Matthew, said that the axe is already laid at the foot of the trees, and every tree that does not bear good fruit is to be cut down and thrown into the fire. And so at first I'm like, I didn't see the thrown into the fire part. I just saw the cut down.
Yeah.
And so like, oh, well, maybe you want me to like refilm it and like rebuild it for some reason, since you've rebuilt me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then next day he sends me back to it. Like, no, thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
That means it's ashes.
Yeah.
And that was our other main source of income.
Yep.
So I'm like, it's end of June now.
Yeah.
Rent's about to be due again, along with our other.
You had to remind him.
Yeah.
You had to remind him. Hey,
Yeah. And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm going to obey, because I've also learned that delayed obedience is still disobedience.
Yep.
And so I told my guys, so that was on Monday. I had my call Monday night. I told them, like, next week's our last call. And I'm going to roll all you guys in a one-on-one. You don't have to pay anything extra.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to fulfill on my duties here.
Yeah.
And even more valuable for you, but I got to listen to what God is telling me to do.
Nice.
And
good for you.
No idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm worried, because even through that whole month, what I felt God was like telling me was like, I want you to spend more time in my word. I want you to spend more time with me.
Yep.
And I almost felt like he wanted me only doing that all day long.
Yeah.
And I had such a burning desire for it too. But
yeah.
I'm also like working on getting one-on-one clients, because I've got to make sure the bills are paid.
Yeah.
And so 30th comes, nothing. Like, I literally have no idea. How this is going.
Yeah.
On the 1st. And usually he'd always send somebody at the end of the month, right? Like, hey, I still got you.
Yeah.
But now it's the 1st. And the only call, I have no sales calls booked. And the only call I have is with a client I've been working with for 2 years, and it's an exit call. And I'm like, we're done. I have no intention of trying to sign him again. I felt like it was time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to try just because of my financial situation, because then I'd be out of alignment.
Yeah.
So I get on with him, and sure enough, within like the first 15 minutes, we uncover a whole other problem that he only trusts me to solve, and full pay by the end of the call.
Yeah.
Everything's taken care of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Next week, we found out we're pregnant.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm seeking God like no other, because I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Am I focused on one-on-one? Are you trying to turn me into a pastor?
Yeah.
Like, what is about to happen?
Yeah.
And next week, it's like every single week something was happening. Next week, the referral that I had gotten in the beginning of, like, as soon as we got here, she bails on her last payment.
Yeah.
6 years, over 500 clients, never have I had that happen.
Wow.
Never. Not even like where I had to have a conversation to work them back in.
Yeah.
And she straight up 400% bails, blocks me, everything, because she's had a whole bunch of fires in her life. But Like I've over delivered in every way.
Yeah.
Don't deserve this at all.
Right.
Never have I seen somebody handle something like this.
Yeah.
And I just found out that Donna's pregnant. And because I know when my clients' payments are, I'm like, okay, we'll spend this on this, allocate funds here, and then this will go towards getting you health insurance and rent for next month.
Yeah.
And then 2 days before it's due, she bails.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have no idea. Like, what is happening? What is happening?
He wants you to trust him.
Yeah.
No one else.
So what's crazy is I had a crazy level of peace, right? I told you off camera that my business partner had introduced me to Pastor Jim Baker.
Yeah.
Right. And so I dove into all his stuff, and what I was learning from him gave me a level of financial freedom and peace that I had never felt before. So like numbers wise, paper wise, nothing makes sense for the level of peace I feel.
Yeah.
Like I should be very, very stressed out.
Right.
My wife is, and she's annoyed about the level of peace that I have.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. I've been there.
Yeah. And so we end up, her birthday's coming up, right? Of course, we're about to have rent again.
Yeah.
Then her family was flying in, her parents in the Philippines. Then they're supposed to be staying in our guest house.
Yeah.
We have no furniture.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
So I got to furnish a house and a guest house. I got to get all 4 of us plane tickets.
Yeah.
And a week hotel, like all these things, plus her birthday, everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I need about $15,000-$20,000 to just like drop in my lap right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll still 2 weeks later need another 6 or 8, whatever.
Sure.
I'm like, I just don't know how all this is gonna work out. And we're sitting, so it's her birthday, and we're sitting by the lake, July 28th, just like right around the corner from our house. We're like right in between the lake and the ocean.
Yeah.
And I literally I grabbed a beer. I don't drink much, but I'm like, I'm just gonna grab a beer, and I made her like a mocktail with like some Element and like bubbly drink. And I'm like, and put on some like country music. I'm like, this is your birthday. I'm like, I feel so horrible. I'm like, I am failing her miserably right now. And we're sitting there talking, and we're probably there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And she ends up having to pee really bad, so she goes back to the house, and she ends up bringing our dog Callie, and then tossed on a jacket and a long sleeve to block her from the mosquitoes. And she was looking for a "I Believe in You" long sleeve, but she couldn't find it, and so instead she got this shirt from a worship concert from like a decade ago, and then she got a jacket on, right? So she sits down, dog's off leash. This woman walks behind us, like 20 yards with her dog. Our dog takes off after her dog. Donna jumps up.
Yeah.
And from 15, 20 yards away, this woman recognizes Donna's, the
shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, concert shirts aren't like made twice even usually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She recognizes it. They end up in conversation. I get up, I walk over there. I'm like looking over at my wife over and over and over again because I'm like, God is doing something. This is insane.
Yeah.
We're in such a desert season, like truly like living off of manna. Like it wouldn't last more than a day. Money come in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Out it went.
that would for other people would last them months.
Yeah.
Right? But for us, it literally lasted a day.
Yeah.
And then it was gone. And this woman just moved here from Germany, and was a worship leader that was going to a church. We had been here going to different churches like almost every weekend trying to find our new home.
Your deal.
Couldn't find one.
Yeah.
This church was literally 2 blocks away.
Okay.
Super small church.
Yeah.
And because like what it looked like online, we completely disregarded it. It was the closest church and the only one we didn't go to. So we were like 20, 30 minutes out, never went to that one.
Yeah.
She invites us. It's a Saturday night.
Yeah.
She's inviting us Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We had different plans, changed our plans.
Yeah.
And we go in, and just immediately within worship, we're in tears, like just God's presence.
Feeling the Spirit.
The worship leader interrupts with just something from the Holy Spirit, directly what Donna needed to hear because she was struggling. Like, help me with my unbelief. And he literally stopped worship.
Wow.
To tell her that your unbelief is okay.
Wow.
And the pastor took us out to lunch after.
Wow.
With his whole family for like 3 hours. And by the end of it, we gave us 2 connections. And the one connection led to our entire house being furnished within 4 or 5 days for free.
What?
All for free.
Wow. Wow.
And then gave us a connection where we were able to get an ultrasound for free.
Wow.
Which would have cost us $500.
Yeah.
On that Tuesday, right after her birthday.
Wow, that's so good.
And we got to see our babies, like hear our baby's heartbeat and see our baby for the first time.
That's so
right?
cool, man.
And so now it's like, okay, I still have a bunch of fires put out, haven't paid rent, none of this stuff, right? Car payments late, all this stuff. I'm like, and I'm still in peace. I'm like, God's gonna take care of this. I'm good. And on the 5th of August, when her parents were arriving that night, I went to the grocery store to get groceries to be able to make them dinner that night. And my wife always goes to the grocery store. I never usually go. And I'm at the checkout. Every card gets denied. And I had to walk away from my groceries at the register. And I literally, I couldn't get to the car before I started breaking down. And I was in the parking lot for like 2.5, 3 hours. I'm like, I couldn't go home. I was just like, just crying. I'm like, I've been so obedient, so disciplined. And I'm also, and this, you referred to something about this earlier, like, I feel so good at what I do.
Why is this happening?
And because I trusted and had so much faith. Meanwhile, I'm like, I got Pastor Jim Baker on. We're talking about Wealth with God. We do a JV. I'm promoting Wealth with God, right? Because I'm like, this has transformed me internally. Right? But if you saw my bank account, I'm like, this doesn't match up. And I really felt like something like truly broke me in that moment. I'm like, I can't keep playing the game this risky with a little boy on the way. I can't. I have to.
And he doesn't want you to, because I've had those kind of moments. Like seriously. Where he's called me to write a check for a hotel expense and I don't have it in the bank, and I'm like, you're saying to write the check, and I write the check, and I just have this thought, there's a real scenario. I have this thought that I wonder if there's anything in my old bank account. What a random thought. I log into my old bank account, there's $27,000 sitting there. There was another time where I, just tough, just lean, and things are tight. And I get a nudge to ask about my Shopify account. And I didn't know this, but Shopify changed like the rules or settings or whatever to where they would just put your money into an account. You had to request it versus they used to just automatically send it to me. And so, this person can't log in, this person can't log in, this person gets in. There's $40,000 sitting there. And so, he's done that, but he doesn't want you to scrape by, but there's a lesson there. So I remember very similar situation. I had, just lost millions of dollars in investments, had, staring down the barrel of $1 million, hotel expense, and they changed the rules where they wanted more of it up front than they ever had before. And my oldest son wasn't talking to me. And like, he had been 6 months. He was not talking to me, hated me, wasn't, just not good. And I'm frustrated. And I said literally the exact same thing you just said. I'm like, Lord, I've been so obedient. Like, what is up? And I had to keep breaking you so you would keep searching and find the need to love yourself. And I'm like, and that's what I mean with prayer is, it's your own inner voice. It's not, I don't hear some Charlton Heston voice or something, or James Earl Jones or Darth Vader or something. Like, it's your own inner voice, but it's words you wouldn't use. I wouldn't use those words. I didn't know what they meant. What does that even mean? And so for 2 weeks, I'm just like, what does that mean? And so I'm looking in the mirror, I love you, and it just feels weird. And, but then at the end of 2 weeks, he revealed to me that I had a pattern. At the end of every night, I would run this little audit of my day and find a reason to beat myself up. Either something I didn't do or something I did do. Either I ate a cupcake or I didn't do something I was supposed to do. And so he ended that for me. And he told me that had I turned everything back on, you wouldn't have gotten that lesson. And so he doesn't want you to every month be like, oh, Lord, please pay my rent. Like, he doesn't want that, but he will take every opportunity to grow you and a lot of times we grow when we're in the wilderness. We grow when we're at the end of our rope, and we stop. Like a lot of people quote Deuteronomy 8:18, right? Remember the Lord your God who gave you the power to get wealth. Mm-hmm. Well, Deuteronomy 8:17 is you will think it's by your hand, but remember the Lord your God who gave you the power to get wealth, right? And so the lesson gets repeated until it's learned. And so as long as we think it's up to us to hustle, grind, and if it's going to be, it's up to me, as long as we think that when you're on this path, he wants to correct that.
Yeah.
James 1:17, John 3:27, we cannot receive anything unless it's from the Heavenly Father. And so we need to understand, okay, every result I get is from the Heavenly Father. And so now he doesn't cause people to rip you off or cause people to betray you, but what was meant for evil, he'll use for good. And so we do still have free will. That's very clear. Look at the world, right? Yeah. But when he's having you, go back and every month is a, holy crap, how do I get this money? There's a lesson somewhere. What am I to learn from this? What am I to break off of me? What am I to shed? Where do I need to surrender more? And he'll keep at it until you get that, because he loves you so much.
Yeah. So that's the thing is it always a lesson? It was like the questions. I'm like, is it stewardship? Like, I feel like I'm like really trying to steward what the little bit I do have well. Like, what is it? And that's where it went back to the idol in the heart.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that, and then what that moment in the grocery store led to. Those are the two things that I'm seeing as far as purpose. But I'm still like, is there anything else? But I feel like the shifts in prayer that you're talking about, I think are going to help me get that answer, if there is anything else.
Yeah. One big one for me, I was in the gym and I was listening to Isaiah 11:3 and 4, and the way that I read or listen, I'm always looking for traits, because I know the Bible hack, right? It's in the book. Yeah. The Bible hack, when you pray, pray as if you've already received. So I'm always looking for traits and I'm like, Lord, do I have this trait? Now, when I first started this practice, it was very humbling. I'm like, Lord, do I trust you? No. Lord, do I rely on you? No. Like literally everything I asked, it was like, no. I'm like, well, Father, thank you for helping me trust you. Father, thank you for helping me rely on you. And so I heard, Isaiah 11:3 and 4 says, he will delight in being obedient to you. And so I said, now I thought I had this one. I'm like, Lord, do I delight in being obedient to you? No. I'm like, what you mean no? I'm obedient, man. And he revealed to me, you're obedient because you think it'll get you what you want. I'm like, so true. And so I said, Father, I thank you for putting your will above my desire. And I felt a physical change that day. Like I just, something happened.
Yeah.
And I just don't have, your will, man, your will. And that's, I think a lot of people would hear that and think, well, I got big goals. His will is bigger than your goals. What he has for you is larger than you can imagine. And so it's not I'm just going to be a housewife, or I'm just going to be, there is no just going to be. It's your will is greater than mine, and it's going to be more awesome. It's going to be more adventurous, more loving, more purpose-filled, more passionate, more fun. It's going to be more everything. And that's what I've experienced is, that was a big turning point, because I was exactly like you. And I would ask, Lord, what am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing?
Yeah.
And see, his nature is gentle. He didn't want to say to me, you need to put my will above your desire.
Yeah.
That's not very gentle. That's a reprimanding father. And so when I got it, I'm like, Lord, is that what I was missing? Yes. But he's so gentle, right? My yoke is easy, my burden is light. And so he's so gentle in his teachings. He'll let us. He's calculated in our disobedience. He's calculated in our fears, our distrust. He's calculated all that in. So he's never surprised when we have a breakthrough. He knew when it would happen. He just allowed us to learn it in the way we needed to learn it.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful process.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't wait to re-listen to this.
Cool.
So good, so
Cool.
good. All right, so the thing that really led to me reaching out to you was listening to your conversation with Cap, specifically in this conversation around the idols. Like I just felt called to. I started listing off every single piece of scripture that you guys referenced during it. I'm like, there's something in this, but I'm not like fully getting like exactly which one it is.
Yeah.
So I was going through and I was meditating on each one of them.
Yeah.
And
good for you, man.
Then I went to Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Right?
14:2-5.
Yeah. And gosh, it was so obvious so immediately. And so I just like went straight on my face at the altar.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I was like, okay, like you had mentioned an idol with your wife.
Yes.
And you want to just tell us about that real quick?
Yeah. So first of all, so Ezekiel 14:2-5, because he has guided me to really understand how to hear in prayer, how not to hear in prayer. So anything that has to do with hearing in prayer, not hearing in prayer, I am very glued to. I've gone and I've gone through so many versions of reading the Bible, the Message, Passion, King James, New King James, NIV, ESV. Now in the Mirror Bible, which is very very extensive, and so I ran across Ezekiel 14:2-5. It says, "If they come to me with idols in their heart, I'll answer them according to the idols in their heart." And there were 3 areas of my life that I just kept getting. It would eventually I would catch on. That was not a right answer. And everywhere else, but money, food, because I was still addicted to food, and my wife. Now, my wife, when we first started dating, she didn't know it at first, but I'd lost everything, right? Like I was $1 million in debt. I'm living in a house that's in foreclosure. I'm just like, when's the sheriff going to come? Because I'd lost everything in real estate bust.
Wow.
And so she's working at the makeup counter, paying my utility bills. Okay, and she was 20. She's 20 years old. I'm 11 years older. She's paying my utility bills. Like, so talk about feeling like a loser.
Yeah.
That was me. And her parents are like, what does he do again? And I'm trying to figure it out online. And so, it's just tough. And so I just have this thing for my wife. I don't want to let her down. I just don't want to let her down. And so she grew up where her mom went from being very well off, not super millionaire or something, but very well off, to having a psychological breakdown, losing everything, borrowing from people, never paying them back, like just really tough, embarrassing, situation. And so my wife had she's aware of it, but had this fear of the more money you make, the more likely you're going to lose it. So everything was fine when we were first dating because I'm broke, like what's there to lose? But as we started making more money, she would be more stressed out. So over the years, we had all these arguments about money, and it was just like I felt like she was attacking my manhood, and it was like, hey, the money in the bank account's down. I'm like, okay, like it was just, and so one day we're having this very similar conversation of what's going on with money. Money is going down, and this time I handled it differently, and it felt different, and so I went into prayer. I'm like, Lord, what was that about? There's something different about that. And He said, I had to get you to trust me more than you were worried about letting her down. And I realized not let wife down was like my number one priority. Trust Him was somewhere, but not let wife down was like my number one priority because of our deep past. And so I thought I got it. Like sometimes you have a breakthrough and you lose it. Sometimes you take territory, you lose it. And so I took the territory, but then 1 week later, I'm in Dallas, and when I'm out speaking or whatever, I try to get back to her as soon as possible. She's with the kids. We got 2 little ones. And so I'm in Dallas, my flight gets canceled. And I'm like, oh man, I'm on with my assistant. Hey, you guys book me another flight. And I'm in the line, I'm trying the app, and I realize, why am I so stressed out? Like I don't get stressed out anymore. And so I get out of line, I just sit down, I get into prayer, and I'm like, why am I so stressed out? And he says, because you're still worried about letting her down. I'm like, ooh, yes. Okay, you want me to stay here, Lord? Yes. And I had a very powerful meeting with someone because I stayed there that he wanted to happen, and I didn't let her down, and that I took that territory. So I just don't have, an idol in the heart is where you have an emotional attachment to things being a certain way over and riding above your relationship with God. And that is a distrust. That's what it is. It's a distrust. It's like, my emotions more important than me trusting you. And when he wants to call you into territory where he can trust you, and you can't have those things. You can't go take massive territory and still have to please your wife and have that above, trusting him, right? Yes, to please your wife, but that can't be above trusting him. And so he helped me with that.
That exact story hit me so hard when I was listening to your conversation with Kat, because for me, it just immediately, a mirror just came straight up. And I told you before that I felt like God was calling me to spend all this time in his word and with him.
Yeah.
And instead I was trying to get one-on-one clients. So I was spending 12 hours a day trying to get clients, and I spend maybe an hour and a half with him.
Yeah.
Right. And
which is still pretty good. Like, most people won't do that.
Yes, for sure.
But when he's calling you,
yes,
that's different.
And that's where the idol in my heart was my wife's peace.
Yeah.
Right. Because even as long as she knows that I'm working towards paying the bills, right, then she'll be like more relaxed.
Yeah.
She's still not like fully at peace the way that I was feeling.
Yeah.
But she'll be more at peace. But if she's,
at least she can say, look, I'm trying.
Yeah. But if she walks into my office and sees me in the word all day, then, and even with her relationship with God, she's still like a woman's first priority is safety and security.
That's right.
And so now she's seeking that in him instead of me.
Yeah.
Right. And seeing him as the provider instead of me, and he's going to provide through me.
Yes.
Right. But we're working through all that. Right.
That's beautiful.
And so that meditating on all of that, those different things, and then meditating on Ezekiel, I'm okay. So I know that this is that the idol that I'm now aware of. And so I began thanking him for removing that idol from my heart, immediately integrating it, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like face down in front of the altar, and with my eyes closed, kind of like searching with a flashlight in my heart, just like looking in the deepest corners, like, is there any other idols? Like, is there anything else that I'm just not seeing?
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Yeah, and he did. And so I want to read this to you. This is, I was telling you earlier, where I don't even almost remember it. I just, like, in the middle of this meditation, I got up, grabbed my notebook, grabbed a pen, and I like laid back down on my face, but just like started writing.
Yeah.
And
by the way, we're referencing Cap. It's Cap Chatfield.
Yes.
His podcast is a Directed Life. I was on it several months ago.
An amazing podcast.
He's
subscribe
amazing.
to him. He's everywhere. He's amazing.
He's great.
Please go subscribe to him. I want to have him on eventually.
Yeah.
So this is what the Holy Spirit came through with. Stop looking at the bills unless it is due today. Looking at the bills ahead of today shifts focus from all the blessings you have today to the potential lack of the future, focusing not on today's blessings, but future potential lack. Taking your eyes off of God and what he is doing in your life and setting them on what he hasn't done. In that place, the enemy waits with lies carefully crafted just for you in a way that you'll accept as truth or the reality of your situation, getting you to agree that you don't have enough. And because you agree, you worry about not having enough for tomorrow, even though you have always had enough for today, which means you've always had enough when tomorrow inevitably becomes today. Remember the birds, and you will start having more than enough for tomorrow when you agree that you've always had more than enough today. Always have, and then you have always had enough in the present moment. Do you agree? Like, it was an actual question, and I wrote yes. says, you've always had more than enough in the present moment. Do you agree? I said, yes. I said, then all you need to do is be present. The more present you are, the more clearly I can both guide and provide. And the more you worry, the more you'll have something to worry about. I love you.
Wow.
Don't worry. You'll always have more than enough. Do you agree? Holy Spirit.
Okay, send me a screenshot of that.
I will,
I want
100%,
that.
yes.
That is awesome. And Jesus said, who by worrying has added a minute to their life?
Yeah.
And so, and what we kind of started this off with, right, is don't focus on the situation. Focus on him. Mm-hmm. So I've had lawsuit come in. All right, Lord, I look forward to seeing what you do with this.
Yeah.
Now I do ask, Lord, is there something I'm supposed to do about this? No. Okay. There are times where I've gotten a huge expense in. Lord, is there something I'm supposed to do about this? No. And it goes away. Wow. I've had it twice where irrationally, illogically, they just disappeared. And so it's look. Let me look to him, not the situation. Lord, what do you want to be? And I learned a lot of this from Graham Cook. Lord, who do you want to be for me that you couldn't have been for me without this situation?
Mm. Oh gosh.
And so it's turning to him no matter what. But that is that's just awesome. Very clearly not your words.
Yeah.
Because that's really, really good.
Yeah. And so that came in, what I think like a couple of days before that grocery situation.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So good.
I know. It was good. And for like the Holy Spirit to come in that clearly, I ran into the other room like in tears, but also laughing to tell my wife.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then for a few days later, for him to not provide, right, in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what that led to was, I was telling you, I'm like, I can't play the game as risky as I have before.
Yeah.
And he's doing something. He's stripping me of my coaching. We'll say pruning. Right.
Yeah.
And also wanting me to walk away from IBOI. He clearly has something planned.
Yeah.
But right now I'm like, dude.
But you want to find out. You just ask him different questions.
Yeah.
Find out his promises.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and so that night I started like looking for jobs for the first time.
Yeah.
It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, but I need something that's actually going to truly cover everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, am I going to go back to being a police? I'm like, my brain is breaking at the idea of like getting a job, let alone going back to the thing that took so much from me.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at jobs that I just like never. I'm doing something I just never thought that I would do. I'm like, I got a kid on the way.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm looking at jobs for like days.
Yeah.
Can't like everything. I'm like the job market, all this. I'm like, how do these people live off this? I'm like, this is like, I'm like, what do I do here? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to get a closing job for like and start closing for somebody for now. And like, at least I can make, 10, 20, even up to 30, 40K a month if I get into like, I'm doing the right offer.
Yeah.
And reach out to a couple of friends where they had, opportunities. They had asked me if I wanted to come in on like a year ago, but those doors were closed.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point, and I had been getting ready to drop like 40K to get into Garrett's next tier.
Yeah.
Because I was looking to build my men's coaching program.
Yeah.
And so I thought that would be the next text I'd be sending him.
Yeah.
And I was in such a I was being so humbled that I got to a point and I had seen that he was hiring closers like a few weeks prior on his stories. And I just I'm like, nah, like my ego could not see that path at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I've been building my own thing for a long time. Like,
I'm
good at what I do. Like I had all these stories in my head of like how that's not it. Right.
Yeah.
And I just messaged him. I'm like, I this is not the message I thought that, like the next message I thought I would send you. And I kind of just like walked him through what was happening. And I'm like, so this is just me humbly coming to you to see if like you got a spot on your team or something. Like I can coach, I can close, let me know.
Yeah.
And within like an hour he messaged me. He's like, be at the office Monday morning. And so what's transpired over the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, is something that's so insane that I just could not have possibly imagined it or put it together. I did not want it at all. Like what is happening now, I didn't want. or didn't know that I wanted.
Yeah.
Because it is 100 times better than
Nice.
anything that I had planned.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's not even so much that the current situation of it is incredible.
Yeah.
But it's what I feel he's doing and where he's sending me. And so everything that he's been doing, he's been preparing me for this, but even this is preparing me for something else.
Yeah.
That is, again, far greater than anything I could ever imagine. And so
good.
although I'm very present and humble in the place that I'm in, because I've had to be in order to just accept and surrender to what he's doing.
Yeah.
I also know that it's like where it's going to take me, whenever it takes me. Like, I no longer care what anybody thinks about it.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
if he's telling me to do it.
Yeah.
That, again, now that's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And so it's been interesting to be in my position, or to be in a previous position, and to now humble myself so much to then work for another man.
Yeah.
And all the things that are happening. It's been a huge like wrestling match, but in a way that I'm quickly overcoming it.
Yeah.
And I can feel it pleasing him.
Yeah.
And so it feels amazing at the same time. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Powerful, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to dive into the prayer side specifically.
Sure.
And we've talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of distill it down a little bit.
Yeah.
For, the podcast is Make Men Godly Again. Most of these guys, they believe in God. They maybe even call themselves a Christian, but the fruit of their life doesn't reflect it. Their character doesn't really reflect it.
Yeah.
And they're seeking to really work on the areas and the disciplines spiritually that are going to help them really allow God to change them, like the actual process of sanctification.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to really, like you said when you started off praying, like, I don't know what I'm doing, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
The same thing for me. I'm like, I haven't been praying since I was a little boy. Like, I felt so awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where would you have, like, men that really don't have much of a prayer life, where would you have them start in a way that doesn't feel so overwhelming?
So the problem is we lean on our own efforts, and so we think it's some kind of discipline that I need to get, and it's God will help you with whatever you want, man. And so I think so last night I was teaching my daughter how to hear in prayer, and she said some really funny things. She said she goes, yeah, because she knows, like, she'll see what I do when I'm praying, and so she said, yeah, I thought hearing in prayer was like a superpower, but man, you're saying everyone can? I'm like, yeah, baby, everyone, he wants to talk to you, so it's not just something I can have and you can't. It's he wants to talk with us, and so Tozer said, those who say they never hear from God will discredit every time he talks to them, right? Mm-hmm. And if you read, I just believed James 1:5, right? It says, when ye lack wisdom, ask and it'll be given to you liberally and without reproach. But if you read the rest of that verse, it's very stern, okay? It's when you lack wisdom, it's James 1:5-8. When you lack wisdom, ask, it'll be given to you liberally and without reproach. But when you ask, do not doubt. Or you're like the sailor of the sea, tossed and turned by the waves. You're double-minded in all your ways. Don't expect a response from the Lord. Jeez.
Which makes it super important to tune yourself to his voice so that you don't question it, which is where I feel like...
Believe. So most people, they believe much more in their disability to hear than his ability to speak.
Yeah.
Right? And I believe that comes from two major things, church hurt and father wounds. How we feel about our biological father is often how we feel about our heavenly Father. Mm-hmm. So I thought God, in the beginning, God was mean, uncaring. I'd never be good enough for him. He'd never be proud of me. Why would he talk to me? Like that's, but I found that that's how a lot of guys feel. Yeah. And they haven't associated, that's how I feel about my dad, but it is. And so I think church hurt, father wounds, those are two of the primary things that prevent it. And so I say to, she says, I thought it was a superpower. Like, that's. And so I'm like, okay. So the first question that I have people do, and it's important to understand, again, I mentioned this, I don't hear an external voice. I don't hear, someone talking to me over here or on this shoulder. It's my own inner voice, but it's words and thoughts I wouldn't use. And, just like, I had to keep breaking you so you would keep searching and find the need to love yourself. That's very clearly what I got. I still remember it. Those aren't my words. Like I wouldn't know, I didn't know what it meant. And so one of the most important questions to ask is, Lord, how do you see me? How do you see me? And because it's a great question, because if we ask ourselves that, right, we'll be like, well, I should probably do this, or, we'll come up with some thing that's missing, or something that needs to be fixed, or, we screwed up in high school, or, we come up with some kind of condemnation. That's not how God will answer you. And so the first several times that I prayed that, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't take it. It was too good. Like, I can take a drill sergeant, like whatever, like I can take someone dressing me down, or, saying you suck or whatever. I get that daily in my comments, right? And, but I there were these words that he's using that I would never use to describe myself. And, at least in the beginning. Now I accept them. They're my identity. And so that's the first prayer I had my 9-year-old say is, how do you see me? And so she writes it down. It's really cool. And she wrote, great, kind, loving leader. Awesome words, right?
Yeah.
And I explained to her, that's your actual identity. See, especially men, we think our identity is, what do we do? What do we have? What have we done? How much money, right? We define ourselves by net worth or occupation or whatever, but that's how God sees you. That's your actual identity. And so I said to her, hey, if an apple tree dies before it produces an apple, what kind of tree is it? And she's like, it's an apple tree. Like, exactly. And so she kind of got it of, okay, this is my identity, whether I act like it or not. And this is actually who I am. And I saw a change in her. This was last night. I saw a change in her. And I told her, I gave her a few more questions to ask. Lord, where are you growing me? And I gave her a few different questions, and she journaled them all. It was really, really cool. And then she walks away for a second, and I hear her say, ugh. And she comes back, and she goes, I got an answer I didn't like. I'm like, okay, what was the question? And she said, I asked God, when am I going to get boobs? And he said, 14. Now, funny question.
Yeah.
She's 9, right? She would not have answered 14.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
Like that's not, and so she's doing it.
Yeah.
Right? She's doing
That's
it. And so I'm going to
amazing.
just keep working with her, because I think about, what would my life be like if I learned at 9?
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my goodness. I've just perfected this in the last, couple of years. But the big thing is lean on him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we think, oh, Lord, I'm going to do 3 hours a day in the Bible, and I'm going to do this. Well, if he's calling you to do that, stay in step with the Spirit. Like, ask him, Lord, what you could ask, what am I to do? But also, Lord, what are you doing in me? How do you see our situation? So when I asked him, Lord, how do you see our situation? He said, it's what drew us closer together. Beautiful. And so you can ask him these. You can come up with really incredible questions. And there's a project that I'm a part of with Graham Cook and his partner, and it's primarily on hearing from God and just understanding that everything originates with God, not us. We think we originate everything. We think we're the Savior, we're the Messiah, we want to save everybody, and he is. He's the originator. So if we can just figure out, okay, Lord, what's your heart in this situation? What are you doing? What are your plans for this? And if we find out he has no plans for that, then let's not do it. Why bother?
Yeah.
But if he has plans for that, let's walk in the promise. Let's let him guide us, because his plans for us are greater than our plans could be. And I think so the big thing is understanding that it's not that God's so far away and please God, please answer. You know, he wants to answer you. He's with us. He'll never leave us or forsake us. And just to lean on our relationship with him, because that's what he wants.
Yeah.
He doesn't want religion. He doesn't want you better do this and not do that. It's not that. It's let's have a relationship. I want you to know me, not just know about me. And you know, my friend Teresa, I heard her say, there's a lot of people that love God but have no idea how much he loves them. Just know how much he loves you, because that's actual faith. So if I know how much he loves me, then what circumstance exactly will stress me out? Mm-hmm. Because if I know he loves me, oh, that's upgrade, new possibility. Okay, cool. I'm growing somehow. I don't understand how, but you know, I know you love me. It's just like, you know, with my wife. You know, she's a high-end realtor in Naples. She's out with very wealthy individuals all the time, very wealthy dudes all the time. I don't worry because I know how much she loves me. Now, if I didn't, I'd be like, where is she? I'd have a tracker on her phone, you know, like, well, who's this, you know? Yeah. Like, I know how much she loves me, so I have faith in her. Same with God. If you know how much he loves you, you'll have faith in the circumstances. You'll have faith that he's leading you to something better.
Yeah. It's interesting because, you know, for me to be focused in my coaching over the last few years on relationships, intimate romantic relationships, and solving those. Yeah. Once I started building a relationship with God and then helping my clients do that and work through the challenges that I saw, how it's the same things.
Yes.
It's the communication, it's the trust, it's the intimacy, it's the connection, it's prioritizing, making an effort, pursuing, seeking, staying curious. Yeah. Right. And there's so many ways that it's like continuously exposing, even just through this conversation. I'm just like, gosh, and in prayer specifically, like I've been asking the same questions. Yeah. How would that work out if I asked the same exact question only to my wife for the last year?
So like,
right. And I'd get somewhat of the same answers.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like just reflecting back to me, right? Teaching me as well. Yeah. Of how much the like relationships are relationships. Yeah. And a lot of that, especially even with ourselves. Yeah. Right. The question asking with ourselves and the reflection, it's the same thing. And within that, we start to work on our relationship with ourselves, which a lot of times then improves our relationships with others and with God, right? Because if we have like self-hatred and struggling with self-worth, then we can feel like we're unworthy of God's love. And so it's just interesting how this is still being reflected back to me, which brings me to chapter 7 here, which is God has an anointed brand for you. Yeah. Right. Since I've had, I had an engagement. I was about to get married, and we spoke off camera about that, where my partner was killed. I became an alcoholic, destroyed everything but my career. Yeah. I've had 2 very toxic relationships where both women, the way we broke up, they punched me in the face and got arrested.
Wow.
I swear I did not deserve it. Nobody will believe it, but wow. As a man of faith, I really, and then to have this incredible marriage, incredible relationship.
Awesome.
And then to help others with it, and then to now build this incredible, powerful, intimate relationship with God, and to have not known God for so much of my life, and to like that hurts me. Yeah. To know, like oh, I just can't believe that I went 30 of the however many years I have on earth, not having that relationship.
Yeah. 45 for me.
Yeah. And so it's. I'm like curious if it's going to be that, or if the other big challenge could be the coming from a trailer park to wherever he's sending me, and the overcoming of the money blocks and all those things leading to wealth, where then it's going to be that. But of course, when he gives me make men godly again, right, it seems like it might be in the anointed brand, and all of that might be going there. But I didn't mean to make this actually about my anointed brand, but I wanted you to talk on that a little bit so that people can understand, because I really want people to see the range of what they could learn in this book. Yeah. Because it's not like every top, it's not about just all the strategy of how to build wealth
Right.
at all.
Right,
Or
right.
even just like how your faith will lead to it. Because if you're trying to use your faith to lead to it,
Right,
it'll
right.
do the complete opposite.
Right, right.
So I'd love to cover that. And then I got a little bit more before we wrap up.
Sure. Yeah. So when I first kind of got that in prayer about anointed brands, I thought like, oh, okay, everyone has like one type of person they're called to serve, and you know, that's like their lifelong mission. Got it. But I found that that's actually not the case. It could be seasonal, right? You could be called in a season to help this type of person. And you know, Jesus said, if you want to be first, make yourself last. That means make everyone else first, right? And so we are to serve. We are to help others. And you know, one of my favorite verses is Ephesians 4:29. Do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. And not always, but most of the time, the anointed brand for you is the thing that you struggled with the most because you understand it the most completely. And so it's just like if you talk to someone that is just natural at sales, right? And they're just really good at sales. They were just born out the womb. They were selling stuff, and they're usually not that great of a teacher. And that's true of almost anyone who's naturally good at something. They don't know what it's like to suck at it. They don't know what it's like to struggle at it. And so a lot of times they can't really teach you, right? You know, they can be excellent at what they do, but they're often not very good teachers. And so usually that thing that you struggled with so hardcore, that's the thing that you're actually anointed to be a teacher around. Biblically, Judges 3:1 and 2 says, some of the Israelites experienced war so they could help the Israelites who had yet to experience war. So sometimes we're put through wars to prepare us so that we can go and teach other people that are going through a similar kind of war. Like one of the bigger callings I think on a particular type of person is when someone loses a child. You know, if I'm coaching someone who's lost a child, at some point they're going to think, well, what does he know? Right? And I don't. I've God bless. I haven't lost a child, but I'll point them to like Ed Milet, Granger Smith, amazing podcast where he lost his son, put a gun to his head, found Jesus, amazing. And so like a lot of the times, what you've been through, you're called to help the person you used to be, and so because they would listen to you, right? Like if you were born wealthy and someone who came from a trailer park and be like, all right, easy for you to say, buddy. Like they want to hear someone who they can relate to.
Which goes back to who do you listen to?
Yeah.
Which
right.
in the book, I think that I want to make sure I get this right, but I think that you said that people will go, they're seeking more of an authority instead of an expert.
Correct.
And that was like,
yes. Expert being, I have my MIT graduate degree, Harvard, Wharton, whatever.
Yeah.
Authority mean you've been in my shoes. Most people want to talk to people who've been in their shoes, and they'll learn from people who've been in their shoes. That understand they can connect to them, they can relate with them, and so a lot of times, when I coach people and pray with them and stuff, a lot of times I'll tell them, hey, this is your anointed brand, and it's literally the thing they struggle with the most, and I'm like, well, the good news is that's God's promise, and you're going to get better at that thing. And they choose, they either choose to go that route or they choose to flee, right? They either Jonah it or, Peter it, and so it's, it's up to them. But, I'll give you one of probably my favorite example, and I didn't understand this at the time, but in maybe 17 or 18, we did a reality show called Play to Win. And we had people come from all over the world to compete in a reality show. We put them through the ringer and to either win coaching or a job with me. And so one of the ladies that came, her name's Renee Adams, and she, on like the second or third show, she confided in me and said, I was brought up through the foster care system, and I was raped, I was trafficked, just literally one of the worst stories you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've never told anyone that. And she's in her 40s or 50s. And she's like, I've never told anyone that. And I said, obviously loved on her. You didn't deserve that. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I said, there's some people that need to hear that story. And if you shared that story, it would give them hope. And so I tell this to a lot of people, and some people do it, some people don't. But she texted me, I think, a couple weeks later, and she goes, now she had never given a speech ever. She had never done a video ever. She had never shared her story ever. Her whole family didn't know it. Nobody knew this, right? And so about a couple weeks later, maybe a month later, she texts me, she goes, I'm doing my first speech at a women's shelter. I'm like, oh my goodness, good for you, way to go. A couple months later, she's speaking at the International Conference Against Human Trafficking for Ohio State University, 19 countries, 7,000 people watched her share her story. What I mean by anointed brand is there's a way that if you walk, God's favor will be all over it, because that's what you're actually called to do.
Yeah.
And so it will be unreasonable, it'll be illogical, doors will fling open that don't even make sense, and that's what she was experiencing. And so it's not, whatever whoever you're really called to serve is going to feel really good, and you're going to see an anointing with it. And so there may be some lessons that he wants you to learn before he opens every door, but that's just the promise. He doesn't. We don't want to see our kids, oh, is he still in that office job that he hates? Oh, okay. Well, you got to make do. Like, we don't want our kids to just toil and hate their career. We don't want that. Yeah. He's a perfect father. He doesn't want that for us either. He wants us absolutely loving our life here. Jesus said, Hebrews 12, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. Okay, the joy set before him wasn't us toiling at a job we hate. It wasn't us, living some small life. It was us being the light of the world, the city on the hill that can't be hidden. And so go find that out. Go ask the Lord, where are you calling me to? And a lot of times it's going to be a place you don't want to go. You won't want to be vulnerable. You won't want to be authentic. You won't want to, share the thing that you're worried everyone else will find out. But that's probably where it is.
It's interesting you say that, because I felt like he was calling me to truly share the brutal truth of what's been happening in my life right now. And I had filmed a solo podcast this last week, and on all of it. And just afterwards, he's like, no, not there.
Yeah.
Here. And then when I was looking at everything that's been happening, it's like, the chapters, the way that they're laid out.
He laid them out.
Yeah, the way that he's laid them out is how he's laid out the lessons he's been teaching me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. It's even like emotions are coming up right now as I'm saying it, because it's just like confirming. The Holy Spirit's just confirming it. Gosh, this is so crazy. This is so good. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, awesome.
I'm stoked to see how many people are truly blessed by this conversation.
Awesome.
And I don't know. I feel like that's part of this is and what he's doing, the work that he's doing with me is he doesn't want me doing this for money right now.
Yeah.
He's like, don't stop worrying about monetizing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to figure out how to make this make money.
He can.
Right. Yeah. And then the doors that he's opening, like, this is episode 6.
Yeah.
Like, and anybody that I've reached out to, I feel like he's called me to reach out to, immediate, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, gosh, and to be so new at this and to have it all kind of like coming together, especially with how much I resisted it.
Yeah.
He's making it a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
All right, so, gosh, there's so much. I know we have to wrap this up. There's so much I want to discuss. I'm fired up to go pray.
Nice.
Like, that's what I'm excited
I love
to do.
that.
And
I love
can't
that.
wait to.
I love that.
I feel like there's a lot of conversations. I'm excited to like send this to all my closest friends and
Yeah.
homies and
Cool.
everybody, just because I think that there's so much in
Cool.
this conversation. I just want to make sure there wasn't anything that I missed. There's so much that we're missing, but that I want to make sure is in this conversation here. I had some. I guess I'd like to wrap this up. One, I got 2 questions, unless we're interrupted here. But who is this book for? Like, who should go get this on Amazon right now?
Yeah. 2 types of people.
Okay.
And the first type I knew, because I know it's the majority of people. The second type I learned, he showed me. All right. So the first type is someone who loves God but struggles with finances. That's primarily, that was the thought that went into it.
Yeah.
But the second type of person is the person that that wants or has a relationship with God, but is worried about losing what they have. And I didn't recognize that one. But I've had several, millionaires read it, and they're like, this really helped me, because the world's in a very interesting place. There's a lot of transition going on. There's a lot of people that went from making a lot of money to not. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's just a lot of wild stuff, and so I would say it's those 2 types.
Yeah, it's interesting, because the other question that was coming in is I'm thinking of I can probably think of 20 guys that are millionaires right now that I know believe in God.
Yeah.
But they're like, I'm good when it comes to the seeking of a relationship with God.
Yeah.
And I just want to like shake them.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you have anything for them specifically, especially because they're in business, and it's like, I don't know if you can't say anything.
It's all about desire.
Yeah.
What's it? Why is it that I came to the Lord less than 3 years ago, and you less than like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yet we've grown so much in the Spirit. Is desire, right? And so, the Bible talks all about that, right? He talks about he didn't say at the end of Luke 16. He didn't say you will either worship God or the devil. He said you'll either worship God or money. And so most people get their identity, safety, security, status, and significance from money. And like the first chapter of that book is a fun one. It says, money was my master, but only when I was broke. So if you're emotionally affected by the amount of money you have or don't have, then you have an unhealthy association with it, because it's a resource. It's not the source.
Yeah.
God's the source. Money's a resource. And so Pastor Jim does a good job of talking about that.
Yeah. That definitely helped me.
Yeah. And so it's, you got to have desire. And so if the Lord, so the chapter I didn't want to write in there was 21 Reasons You're Broke. I didn't want to write that, because I'm like, that's kind of judgmental, and that's kind of, I don't like that language. But that's the chapter I get the most feedback on. But there's a 22nd reason that's not in the book.
Please, okay. So I went through the 21. I'm like, I think I'm good.
Yeah,
so like, it's got to be something else.
The 22nd reason is, if you have an unhealthy attachment to money and trusting money, then you may see God take that away so that you move closer to Him. And so that's, I've seen that many, many, many times. And so it's, are there people just not, called, to God? I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
But when someone is I'm good, I look, there's plenty of people with desire, and I don't know what the Lord, because you have to understand, everyone around you is a child of God. Okay. Whether they want to admit it or not, or whether they believe that or not, they're a child of God. He loves them. And so we're not to condemn them. We're not to judge them. We're not to say, hey, you need to know Jesus. We're not to do that, actually. Ephesians 4:29, do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, only what is helpful for building us up according to their needs. And so I'm not to say, hey, well, your money ain't going to last. Like, that's not for me to say.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah.
And so I'll pray for them.
Yeah.
I'll say, Lord, thank you for drawing them closer to you. I may do that prayer, not in front of them, but I'll pray it.
Yeah.
And but I'm going to work with the people He sends me.
Yeah.
And the people, there's plenty of people that are hungry, that have a desire, and that's who I'm called to work with. This is why I don't do. A lot of people are like, I only work with Christians. Like, okay, who are you converting? Like what's up?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Lord, you can put me in any room you want. I mean, if I get invited to speak at a Satan worshiping event and He gives me the green light, I'm going. Like, I'm going to go. And we're going to rock that thing. It's going to be amazing. And so, I'm looking for, Lord, who do you want me to work with? Who am I called to help? And if someone's good and they're they've already got what they think they need, at least on the surface or whatever, however they handle it, then I'm probably not called to help that person.
Yeah. The only thing I've been able to do is just pray for them.
Sure.
I think that there's something powerful about getting the men who have the wealth and help, like, in getting them to direct it towards the kingdom is just something that there is a desire in my heart to do.
Yeah.
So
well, he gave you that. When you came to Christ, He gave you a new heart. Mm-hmm. And so any desires you have post accepting Christ is a desire He gave you.
Yeah.
And so He'll probably grow you in that.
Yeah.
And so it's, I think, them seeing the examples. Don't you think that David Green gets in different circles than most people, right?
Yeah.
Has a company, does $8 billion a year. He takes a meager salary. I believe they donated like $750 million last year.
Wow.
And that's just awesome.
Yeah.
And so don't you think other billionaires like what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like how come you do it this way? And they interview them and they're confused by them. But we're called, I like Luke 16:9, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you'll be welcomed into eternal dwellings. And so, we're to use money and notoriety and influence as a tool and a resource to shine our light, to have more people that want the light.
Yeah.
They either want the light or they think they already got it. And that's okay. That's, I'm not their Messiah. And that's something I don't have that complex. I don't have the Savior Messiah complex.
Yeah.
There are people that I would love to get to know the Lord more, but He's not calling me to do anything, so I don't.
I love it. Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, Ray, incredible conversation.
Yeah, man, for sure. I love your stories.
So much value.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I'm really excited to get this out to the world.
Yeah.
I can't wait to just listen to it myself. I don't think I've had a conversation that I've been so excited to re-listen to and to have my wife listen to. I think there's just God's doing something with this that I feel very strongly, and so I just really appreciate you being obedient,
for sure,
right? And going to Him to see if He wants you to come out here.
For sure.
This is an absolute pleasure. Everybody's listening, please. Faith-driven wealth. The little bit, like everything you got out of this is just a little bit compared to what you'll get out of the book. Yeah. And you're putting out YouTube videos all the time that are so good as well.
Yeah, thank you.
And checking out that. I love just like the way that you promote those daily.
I
like that. So where can everybody find you?
So we do have, talking about taking things away, July 1st, I wake up and the YouTube channel I've been building for years, gone, got shut down. And now on that channel, I had a lot of new age. Because it was years and years before I came to Christ. Yeah. And so I had a lot of stuff. And so, again, do I stare at the situation or do I look to God? And so I'm like, all right, God, am I appealing this? No. Am I starting a new one? Yes. Okay. All right. So we started a new one. And so we started a new one on July 1st. And so you can, and we put out, 5 decent length videos every week. And you can check it out at higdongroup.com/channel. You'll notice that what he's called me to do is none of my titles are faith forward, right? So it'll be like 7 daily habits, or how to overcome this objection in sales, or something. On the inside though, there's always some prayer in there, faith in there, God in there, and that's just how he's called me to do it. I don't think that's
he's
the
putting
same.
on the front lines.
Yeah. And so you can certainly check that out. And every week, unless I'm traveling, I do Free Coaching Friday, where anyone can get on Zoom with me, and I actually do about an hour of coaching with people, no cost. And so it's he's just crafted an amazing, adventurous life for me. It's been great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Any last words?
Just keep turning to him. Just keep turning to him. If you can just remember that in any situation, there's always an upgrade possible. In any situation, and there's provision, there's an upgrade possible. Turn to him. The enemy wants you to focus on the situation. The enemy wants you to focus on what's wrong, what's missing, I got this bill coming up in a week or two. Like patience absolutely defeats the enemy. Walking in God's promises, game over. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. For
Appreciate
sure.
you
For
coming
sure.
in.
Yeah.
Y'all, if you got a lot of value out of this, make sure to send it to somebody. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow Ray.
Yeah.
You'll continue to get more and more value out of all of his content.
Yeah.
And don't forget to grab the book. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. That was good.
Yeah.
That
Good
was
stuff,
good.
man. Good stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.